Okay, folks, here we go.
Here we go. Let's have a good show. 1B, stand by. Yeah. Yacht, yeah, take it. Just go right now. Go to camera 3. 3. Go to the gate. Perfect. Just like that.
I'll just go ahead.
Yeah, graphics 2 is going to be up for the first day. Go right now. Go to camera 3. Go, yep.
Can you
Go to the gate. Just like that. No music. I'm going to have to cue. Wait for it.
On radio in the Canal Zone.
All right, guys, mic check.
Go ready.
Okay, Ricky, mic.
Yep, I am ready.
Wait for it.
Willie, mic check.
Yep, let's go.
1B, stand by.
10,
Couple minutes.
9, 8, 7, 6,
5,
4, 3, 2, 1, and we're live.
Okay, and go for it, guys.
Hey guys, there we go. It's 8 o'clock Eastern time. It is 5 p.m. Pacific time, and it is 7 p.m. Canal Zone time. Here we are, happy hour at the Balboa Yacht Club. Ricky, happy Friday to you, man.
Happy Friday. Let me shut this screen. Sorry about that, guys.
No, you're good.
Happy
You're
Friday,
good.
everybody. I got, okay, we're ready to go. Look at that. Nice. That's my favorite studio, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, welcome, everybody. Welcome, like always, every Friday. Welcome to our weekly happy hour at the Balboa Yacht Club. An iconic place for all Zonians and everybody who ever went through the Canal Zone. It's a Friday night podcast that brings you the Canal Zone right to your living rooms. A podcast that's all about the Panama Canal history, the Panama Canal itself, from the former U.S. Experience Day till today. A podcast that brings you the latest news, the latest what's going on, social life, and what's going on in the Zonian community, in a place where we like to feel like it's a place where everybody knows your name. So you guys, welcome. Grab your drinks. Like I said, it's a happy hour.
Amen.
And let's salute to the eighth wonder of the world.
You got it,
To
indeed.
all you
Salute,
mango
everybody.
heads, welcome to our show.
Yeah, listen, we got a great show tonight, guys. We've got a really cool treat. We've got former Navy SEAL Captain Paul Shamela joining us. He was commander of Naval Special Forces in Panama, and he arrived literally as the bombs stopped falling in Panama after Just Cause. A couple of days after Just Cause, he arrived, and he took charge of special warfare and things of that nature in Panama and in Latin America. So he's got a great story to tell us about his experience down there in Panama and, you know, and all the things that he did there, because, you know, obviously Just Cause was a major transition in the Panamanian government in security, and basically they got security taken out, and so something had to replace it, right? And so in those immediate days after, it was probably a bit chaotic and whatnot. So we're going to learn all about what went on with that and that story there. And as is typical, Ricky, and I think you'll agree with me here, anytime we have somebody from the military, they always tell us that of all their deployments, Panama was their favorite one.
Always their favorite. So
you know?
tonight we're gonna push to see how far we can take him to give us information of what he's allowed to say. So I am gonna push to see if I can get him to tell us.
You know, Ricky likes to push the envelope a little bit, but in all honesty,
poaching news. That's what we're all about.
it is. But you know, and a lot of what he's going to be talking to us about is what went on, you know, 25, 30 years ago with Just Cause and the immediate aftermath of that, because it really is kind of interesting. You know, a lot of us have understand and know the story of Just Cause, but you know, in the aftermath of that, how did security take place? Because you still had to secure the canal, you still had
Right, because there was no more Guardia Nacional.
Right. Well, and Noriega spent a lot of time, you know, setting his country up for this kind of stuff. So it's not like, you know, when the shooting stopped, the place
Everybody
was just
behaved.
clean. Right.
Actually, everybody misbehaved. Even a few Zonians that I've heard about.
Yeah, but then a little bit of rock and roll music around the
papal
nuncio, and
nuncio.
that was all she wrote there. So, but anyway, that's really exciting. Also, we have Canal Zone trivia. We have a new format that's really cool. The cool thing about this, guys, we're not using an external app like we had to before, so you don't have to worry about no QR codes and downloading anything on your phone. You just work through the chat for the show, whether it's on Facebook, on YouTube, it doesn't matter. In the chat, there are multiple choice. So when you get the question, you're gonna, is it 1 this, is it 2 this, is it 3, is it 4, and then you answer. The faster that you answer, of course, the more points you get. And at the end, the system here actually does all the tabulating and everything and gets a winner. And the winner will get a 4-pack of Howler Monkey Sauce. So it's going to be really cool. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be some interesting trivia. It's just going to be general trivia of the Canal Zone and the Panama Canal mostly. So, and then the last thing we're going to do, and I'm still trying to queue up some pictures here while Ricky's talking, is obviously you guys saw in the news all this week, and if you didn't, you really do live under a rock. But there was a big explosion in Panama, right under the Thatcher Ferry Bridge, or the Bridge of the Americas, depending on who's listening. And it was pretty intense, right? It was quite the fire. It went on for quite a bit, so there's concerns of the structural integrity of the bridge. So Ricky's going to talk about that as well, and we've got hopefully some cool pictures or videos to see about that. I'm sure you've all seen them already, though, but. That, and then Ricky's got something else that he's going to roll out with right now, about, spotting some fellow Zonians here and there and everywhere. Cause it seems like Zonians are everywhere. It doesn't matter where you look, man. There's always a Zonian out there. So, we're going to roll into that real quick. That's part of our K-Pasa segment, but let's say hello to a couple of folks there, and then we'll roll right into it, because we've got our special guest, our guest of honor here, waiting in the green room. So we're going to try and get through this stuff quickly to get him on the air here. But Vern, good to see you. Vern's traveling down to get mom and dad in Texas, moving him back.
Hello, Vern.
So good for you, Vern. Well done there, and safe travels to you, and say hello to the family there. Mark, good to see you. Also from, there you go, Texas.
Hey, Mark.
Right on. Yeah, Mark is continues to roll out a lot of really cool tunes, guys. Check him out on YouTube, Mark Cicero CZ. Okay, he's got a lot of really cool tunes. Of course, Panama Days is one of those tunes, but he's got a lot more tunes than that out there, and so.
And most importantly, Mark's a Balboa High School class of '81.
There you go. That's Ricky's class of '81, which they've got a big reunion coming up this year in Orlando, so we're going to start bringing that on here. By the way, Ricky, we really need to see if we can't get some class of '81 and or class of '86.
Hey, that would be great. Get some '81 guys here going to chat about our days when we were seniors. I would love that.
Eric,
Mark, again, make sure Mark gets on too.
Salute. And Eric, thank you for the beer.
Eric.
Eric bought us 3 beers today. We appreciate it.
Right on, Eric. Thank you so much.
Pay the bills and stuff. Juan,
look at our new background. What do you guys think of that? I mean, I know you guys have seen it because it's an iconic picture, but I love it, man. I love it. We're going to be switching it up. We're not going to give up on our yacht club bar.
Yeah, we are happy hour at the Balboa Yacht Club. But,
but this one's so iconic. Paul, this picture actually came from I think it was a review, actually, one of the review magazines.
Probably. Well, I did.
Yeah, one of the center pictures. Yeah.
Like the bridge wasn't that prominent there. That's a little bit of a add on there, but man, either way, it's a great look. It's a great view. Yes, saludos from Clayton. Good to see you, Paul.
What's up, Paul?
Clayton, of course, or as it's known
Ciudad
now,
del Saber.
That's right.
Which tonight we're gonna hear a little bit about Ciudad del Arte.
Oh, right on.
Ciudad del Saber is Clayton, as we know it, and Ciudad del Arte is Corundu.
Oh, how about that? Well, that's interesting. That's interesting because Corundu, Corundu's had a lot of
history in Corundu.
History of it, and different kind of strange names that kind of wouldn't gel with Ciudad del Arte, but nonetheless, we'll go over
Ciudad
that one.
Del
We'll
Arte,
cover some Corundu stuff. There we go.
From Japan.
Yeah, from good morning over there. It is morning over there.
Hey, I got some good news from Japan and Panama.
Yes.
Every single year, the numbers just came out. The number one seller of vehicles in Panama, Toyota, and by a lot, by the way.
There you go. That's
More
right.
Panamanians buy Japanese than any other mark, any other car. South Koreans were second.
Yeah, but
distant second.
Yeah, we'll cheer on our Japanese friends. They're here in Japan. Cherry blossom petals are dancing in the air like falling snow.
Yes,
right
Cherry Blossom Festival in San Francisco this weekend.
And look at this guy. Talk about somebody.
Next weekend.
With someone that's in tune with Panama and knowledge of Panama, all the way from Japan. He goes, I imagine the Guayacan trees in Panama must be looking beautiful right now as well.
Oh, yes, they
absolutely.
are.
I saw someone posted the other day a picture of, because if you guys, the Guayacan, guys, is a really tall tree that turns all yellow. Mm-hmm. I mean, you can see that for miles because it contrasts every other tree in the jungle there. But yeah, that's cool. Well done there. Akira, good to see you, and good morning down there in Japan.
Wally Balsack here, very good friend of mine. More importantly, Wally Balsack's also class of '81, Balboa High School.
Ah, there you go.
Wally from Albrook.
Okay.
Albrook Jet, one of the original Albrook Jets, I would have to say. Good to see you, Wally. Really good to see you.
Where was he looking at this stuff? Am I missing something here?
You know,
yeah, I don't know where you're coming with that, but okay. Anyway,
right
Jim and-
here.
Oh, whoa. Okay, so I didn't see that one. I was. You were ahead of me there on one, but good to see you, brother. Class of '81, absolutely.
That's correct.
And they've landed. Okay, you know what? We were going to try and get it on, and we were trying to get the show launched. I was hoping that it would go a little bit more delayed, if anything, and then we could maybe, cut into that live feed. But yeah, so they did splash down. Welcome back to Earth.
There's a few Zonians that were like the flat earthers, and they had a bad week.
Yeah. Yes, that was. We knew it was going to come out. We knew this was going to be one of those. But
hey, Leaf, good to see you. Always good to see you, Mr. Soline.
Yep, at least just confirming.
Leaf and I grew up right in that neighborhood, right behind you.
Yes, yeah.
Leaf and I played there our whole early lives.
Right behind Ricky over his shoulder, one of those roofs is both of
my house where I grew up in.
Yeah, absolutely. That's cool. Looking forward to the reunion. Yeah, it's going to be fun, man. You guys got a class
Absolutely,
reunion. We have
Wally,
one as well.
man. I'm going to be
class
there.
of '86, so we have another reunion coming up as well. But anyhow, let's move things right along there, because like I said, we've got a lot of cool stuff on the show here. But
yeah, but we love our comments.
Yeah, for sure.
We love to say hi to everybody.
SCN Television presents K-Pasa. And now here's this evening's host, Army Sergeant Bob Foster.
Good evening and welcome to K-Pasa. We've got two guests tonight. First Sergeant First Class Jim Webb. Sergeant Webb's with the 227th Military Police Detachment. He's the kennel master.
We disappeared. Anyway, welcome back, guys. So anyway, Ricky, what's going on, man? We know.
Well, we got some good stuff.
Right?
I mean, this is world news. Panama's always stuck in the middle of world news. Well, what we got going, guys? I mean, Will, if you want to go out straight into the bridge, get that video ready.
Go ahead and go with the other stuff.
All right. We'll hit that a little bit later. But listen, on the porch, since I have been updating everybody on the porch now on a weekly base, and stuff keeps happening. So from the last time that we reported, we knew that the Chinese are now suing Panama for $2 billion. That's already old news. So the new news is Panama. Then last week the Chinese added to the lawsuit because of the property that the Panamanian authorities, Chinese property that the Panamanian authorities took, kind of like without permission or something like that, but nonetheless unconstitutional, so they could do it. So they've discovered a bunch of stuff coming out of this new discovery. So the Chinese have decided, the PCC, the company, has decided to sue the operators that are temporarily doing the work. And by the way, the ports are back to normal, production. So they found out a whole bunch of new things, what was going on there. A lot of drug trafficking. They even found a spy office in there. So that's what happened this week. So the PCC is now suing the operators for allowing this information to go out. So throughout the week, one of the things that also happened, guys, is the Chinese government now has been holding for special inspections at their Chinese ports, all Panamanian flag ships. I mean, like every single one of them. Mm-hmm. So it was a way of getting back to Panama, letting Panama know that, we're just a tiny little country and China's a big country and, et cetera. So, Panama kind of said, listen, guys, man. Well, before he did that, the Chinese thought that Panama was running on their own. Throughout the week, what Molino did, Willie, was he got, all like 20 or so different countries to all say, hey, China, you're not doing a good thing by doing this, because you're not really affecting Panama, you're affecting world commerce. Right. So the Chinese have now found out how many countries back Panama on this. So we're hoping that, like the president said, look, we don't want to fight with you guys. Just this, let's just mellow everything out. And I think that everybody's on board now for this to really tone down. I guess all the chest pounding, Willie, has been now done. And they're just going to get down to business and wrap this up. So hopefully this will be the last of those kind of juicy news from here on out. Or hopefully it'll be all good news with the ports. Then from our very good friend HB, he informs us. He had a great charla, by the way, last week in Ciudad de Saber. He informed us that there's this weekend, starting, I think it's tonight actually, going throughout the weekend, 4 days, the big film festival in Panama. And Willie, this is called the TU Festival, and it's put on by a Fundación de la Ciudad de las Artes. Okay. IFF are the acronyms.
Right on.
And it's in Corundu. They've built several, I think maybe 2 or 3 different museums out there. And of course, like we all know, Corundu Junior High School is out there, which now is part of it's a university now, right. Which it should be. It's a beautiful campus. I think so. I think it's like the technical university, La UTE, which is one of the top universities in Central America. Yeah. It's like 6th best or something like that. It's got a really good ranking. So, guys, there's going to be 4 days, 40 films shown. These are all Panamanian films. You're going to love them. Great topics. I looked through some of them. You can go on their website, fundacioniff.com. I'll put that up there later. I believe that's the website, but IFF is who's putting it togetger, and it's
we're going to try and get HB on next week as well.
Yeah, we'll be able to... but here it is, IFFpanama.ong, and I'll put it up on a banner. 40 films, 4 days. Go check it out, guys. If you're in Panama, again, great topics. If you can, once we post the site, go check it out. Great movies.
Cool.
I did look at some of them.
Queued up for you whenever you're ready.
Yeah, I did look up at some of those titles, and a lot of stuff is all about the history. A lot of it was like the history of Panama, things that happened during the history of Panama. Things like when the canal was being built or the railroad was being built. All the side novelas going on. So,
and for you guys that don't know, real quick, HB Tui is a Zonian class of, I think, 92 or something.
Really? Is that young?
Yeah.
Wow. He's 92, right on.
We're close to your brother and sister's age. But he's a very accomplished actor and a very accomplished speaker in Panama. And, he's been on the Hallmark Channel on several films there that they've done as well, and then done several things in Panama, both at the Theater Guild as well as in the big, national theaters. I mean, this guy did a great play that Ricky's dying to get him on and talk about.
1903.
1903. So this guy's very well known as a public persona in Panama and very much a Zonian. He's been on our show. He chimes in every so often in the chat, and he's joined us before. So
on a dictionary night.
Yes, correct.
Well, so guys, go check that out. And then Willie, you got all those pictures ready for our friends around the world.
Yeah, well, let's do the bridge real quick, and then we'll switch over to that.
Absolutely.
Right
you
now,
tell me, boss.
Yeah, so.
All right, look at that, guys. So right there, you got, this is right behind, my goodness, right behind the where we practice football.
Yeah.
Right there. Remember those tanks?
Yep.
That's where that happened.
Yep.
Now...
Yeah. So anyway, so go ahead and tell us what's going on now.
Yeah, 3
explosion, guys.
Well, there's some it could straight up. What the news that came out was it was just straight up negligence. These guys didn't know what they were doing, and the freaking thing blew up. But the thing is, something like that. Here's the deal: the type of fuel that's supposed to be stored under that bridge wasn't flammable. It was a fuel type bunker and a diesel.
Which burns, but very slow. It doesn't explode.
Very slowly. It doesn't explode like that. So, storing it under the bridge, it had his issues, but not major like what we're seeing here. So what happened was there was 3 trucks unload. What this facility was doing was, what they do is that there's a company there that collects all the leftover gas or the throwaway gas or oil, and then they bring it here. They kind of recycle it into bunker and diesel, right? Because it's the lowest form of fuel.
Right.
So they were unloading 3 trucks full of gasoline. So what was gasoline doing in a diesel place? So a lot of people were just saying that they were, cheating and they were, not following the rules and they were putting different material that they shouldn't have. Well, anyway,
there's a lot of different rumors going around.
Yeah, there's a lot of different rumors. So
not over by any means.
Right. But we love to think of the conspiracy side. So it could be, sabotage, someone trying to knock down the bridge and create chaos, not only on the canal, but in Panama, because as you know, the workforce of Panama City lives on that side of the bridge.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the good news is that, all this conspiracy and all that, whatever. The good news is that the Corps of Engineers is down there doing some inspection, as well as a MOP, as well as a third. There's like 3 different people doing inspection on this bridge for the importance of it not coming down, and create the chaos that would create. So I think we're all really happy that the Corps of Engineers is there. That brings a level of certainty to whatever results they come out with, because right now, Willie, the traffic has been there's traffic going across, but anything I think the 10,000 is the level that you have to be under.
And for the first 24 hours, right after the fire was out, they allowed traffic to start going, and they kind of took a step back and said, "Hey, wait a minute, it's probably not safe yet. We don't know what's going on here." So they ended up closing it all together and rerouted everything through the Centenario Bridge, which is further up, over
by Summit.
Summit, just past Pedro Miguel in that area there. Now, that being said, both of those bridges are busy every day with traffic anyway, because as we've talked about before, the west bank of the Panama Canal area, the former canal zone, is very much the suburbs of Panama City in a way. The population there has just exploded. So this is the reason why they're building that tunnel underneath for the metro, and the next bridge is going to go up right next to the Bridge of the Americas. But that, for the first 24 hours, traffic was, it was to the point where even Copa Airlines was putting out, advisories regarding arriving or leaving way earlier because of the fact that traffic is just majorly impacted all across the city because of this one fire and this one bridge. So, it's the Bridge of the Americas is still quite.
He's hanging in there tough. Yeah. I've been more the optimist, going, nah. I know a little bit about concrete and the fractures we've seen.
Right.
To me, like I said, my limited knowledge is stress fractures, so it should be okay. No problem.
No, hopefully it's not, because this isn't something that there's a quick fix. Okay, if you have to close it, or if you have to do something with it, or God forbid it's not structurally sound anymore, you're months and years away from a solution to that.
No. They can fix it faster
I'm just
than that.
saying, that's what I'm getting at.
But
If
the
it turns
good
out
thing,
it's not, is my point.
The good thing though, Willie, has brought back to a conversation is what are they going to do with that bridge? For a period there, the importance of the new bridge was so much that the older, the Bridge of the Americas, or the Thatcher Ferry Bridge, the way we knew it, they were okay with knocking it down. Now all of a sudden they're saying, you know what? This bridge has been an iconic part of all our, and whenever you see a picture of Panama, uniting the continents and, all that stuff, it was always that bridge. That's synonymous with Panama, not just to get rid of it.
They had that big scandal a couple of years ago where they found out that all the steel that they had brought in to
repair it was stolen.
And so they're like, well, wait a minute, now it's becoming a cost prohibitive thing to do it, and you're going to have these new bridges and stuff.
No, they can do it. I live in San Francisco. That's why I'm optimist, and we live around humongous bridges, and they fix those all the time, Willie. So I see it. And it doesn't seem like we know.
I'm just throwing out the for instance, because like right now, for example, they probably, maybe even 4 days ago, they probably wish that swing bridge was still around, because that would have helped alleviate some traffic as well. It's, Panama has exploded on that West Bank in such a way that, this isn't any more of a necessity. Now it's just urgent. You just got to have it, or if not,
Well, they're already talking A, save the bridge, which is good, and B, the fifth bridge. Like the fourth bridge is already too small. All right, so that's what we got with the bridges. Like San Francisco, Panama is a bridge country.
Yep.
We've got 1, 2, 3 bridges crossing. Of course, the fourth bridge. 4. So we'll have 4 bridges crossing, with the fifth being planned. So that's a lot of bridges for a tiny little country.
It really is.
All right, our next little segment here is Friends Around the World. We got this coming from Panama. My good friend John Cantanzero there on my right. I mean, probably your left. Mr. Pablo Prieto, a iconic Zonian figure, and Mr. Hannah, another iconic Zonian figure. John says that from Cardenas. They all got together for a rum and coke and a hello.
Yep.
So that's from John from Panama. This is coming from Carlton Morris. He ran with his lovely wife, Sherry Kofer. Ran into the lovely Monica Reyes and her husband, John Thurber, who played football with me. He was a middle linebacker and a fellow architect, by the way.
Oh, there you go.
So yes, they ran into them, I believe, in Fort Lauderdale. I'll have to check on that. Here's Carlton again with Paul Gibbs and their respective wives. I know they're going to be getting together in Austin. Sorry, Carlton, I should have wrote this down. I thought I had it memorized. Well, they are going to be getting together in Austin, the big AI conference going on there.
Yeah.
And Paul provides, believe it or not, Willie, Paul provides the security for Panama's top diplomats. And like when the president travels and the mayor. Yeah, Paul be taking care of that. So they're going to be in Austin soon. So that's coming out. And Willie, Carlton was just recently in Southern California. Oh, here we go. Here's Frank Pereira, also from John Cantanzero. He ran into some very good friends of mine. Two class of 81 fellows there. That'd be John Cantanzero on my right, your guys left, and Frank Pereira, which you guys have met him. He's been on our show before from SCN.
A real SCN guy.
Yeah, real SCN director. And Gene Robinson on opposite to them, my left, your right, and their respective wives. Gene also a Zonian. His father, Canal Zone Police. He lived on Owen Street with us. But he, first they lived, right behind that telecommunications building we talked about. And remember, there was some houses back there, and there was like a little tennis court back there. Mm-hmm. That's where the Robinsons lived back there. Yeah, up in there. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So that's what friends of mine around the world. That's in Panama at Jimmy's.
Right on.
They all got together there and had a great sent me that picture. I appreciate that very much.
So often now, Ricky wants to do this, which I think is kind of cool. People send pictures, go, "Hey, look, I ran." Because like we've said before, you in the strangest places. We got friends that'll be traveling in Asia or Europe or somewhere, and lo and behold, you run into a Zonian. So
that's cool. Right. So send us your pictures. Let us know the story behind it, and we're gonna probably do it every single week. Friends around the world. Absolutely. Well, guys. Carlton is very important. This is very important. Carlton is working now with this company. I think he's part owner actually of It's called microsnapcarbon.com. That's the name of the website of their company. And what they do, Willie, is that they engineer these microbes that turn trash into that turn green waste into fertilizer.
Nice, into biomaterial.
Right. So, of course, with everything going on in the world, fertilizer is now short because of all the issues we're having. Yeah, right. So he's signing contracts everywhere now of taking people's trash, throwing their microbes in there, and converting it into fertilizer. Mm-hmm. So congratulations to you, Carlton. Hope that company, they're doing a good thing. Those are the kind of companies that always succeed.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
I wonder if they need any Huachimang, Willie. We can get a job there.
Yeah, right. I'll do it. Bien cuidado. No, they say bien cuidado.
Bien cuidado. Carlton, we got you, man. Bien cuidado.
They put a stop to that finally in Panama, man. Because
they tried. Willie, no, they're back. They're back. They're, you know where, too? And it's so sad at the Casco Viejo, man.
Of all
I think
places.
Meyer's finally given up, man. He did his best. And
well, it's one of those things, you clean it up here, they pop up somewhere else. You go clean
exactly.
Up here,
it's just part of the economy. These people make a living off that stuff.
They do. They do. No kidding. They absolutely
do. That's how they got to feed their families. So be it. Shucks. So I guess. Well, if you guys need a buen cuidado, Willie and I, best Huachimán available.
Absolutely. Well, let's say hello to a couple other folks here.
Yeah, let's get going, Willie.
And then kick it off here because we've got a jam-packed show here. And
30 minutes, just like we promised.
Waiting to enlighten us with some really cool Panama adventures. So my sister Sherry Benning, I'm out in Arizona. They're traveling around. They'll be back in Florida here, real close to Florida, I think in November. So they're doing their thing all around the country again. It's kind of cool. I'm gonna have to do that one day. Right behind PCC, we would watch people bouncing. Yeah, I would leave it to Leaf to come up with that memory there.
Well, those Laboca kids were bad, Willie. They would be sitting there to go, jump, jump, jump. I remember those Laboca kids. I'm not going to mention any names, but those guys were maleantes, man.
I mean, you can't hear that. That thing was so high up, man. And people, if anything, they're telling me to stop. No, they're bastards.
But it's true, man. Those kids, those kids saw those guys, jumping off or afterward. The Laboca kids that's why they're so tough, man. Those kids had to put up with that.
Either the college Green Devils that practiced there, or when you were in school there, a couple of people saw that. But anyhow, we're not going to talk about that. But New Tunnel may have a walkway and a bikeway. Actually, what happened was this was a deal that Elon Musk's Boring Company put out an offer. And it was that we're going to build a tunnel. It's got to be less than a mile, and we will build it for free if it's a worthy project. And so they had over 400 or over 500 submissions of projects. They ended up actually picking 3. Okay, they narrowed it down to 16, and in those top 16, Panama made it. And they wanted to do a tunnel underneath the canal there that would be for bicycles and pedestrians. Yep. Well, just yesterday they announced that they selected not 1 but 3 projects, and unfortunately they were all in the United States. So under the canal, that was going to be tough. That was going to be tough as it is. Hey, I got a little text message here from good friends of ours up in class of '79. I mean, all you guys remember Mr. Burt Meat? Well, right? He was a great Zonian. Yeah. Graduated with my father. He was a good referee. Well, Bert has passed. I know you guys all know that. Yeah. Well, whole bunch of class of '79 guys are celebrating his life right now. And Willie, they're watching the podcast. So saludos to all you class of '79 guys. Yes. I played football against all those guys. Yeah, and y'all. Hey, listen, if you all just on YouTube or whatever on your phone, you can jump in the chat and say hello, and we're more than happy to say hello to you guys. But that's cool, guys.
I got a story on Bert Mead, man. How much he loved those '79 guys. I was quarterbacking the Bulldogs, and we're playing college. And it's a tight game, guys. Tight games. All you guys probably remember this. And I had the ball. They came and they hit me. I didn't fall down. And then they blew the whistle. Larry Shaneslaver comes, grabs the ball from my hands, runs it in for a touchdown. Bert Mead calls it a touchdown. And that's how they beat us. But Mr. Mead, that's all right, man. You deserve that to help out the '79 guys.
I've probably told this story several times.
Those guys are gonna kill me when they see me.
Yeah, well, listen, and now that we're on the Burt Mead stories, then and some of you guys have probably heard this already, but 2 years ago we did at the reunion. 2 years ago, or coming up on 2 years ago, we did a Balboa Rams reunion. A lot of fun. We had a lot of people come in and talk. Former coaches. We even had oh my God, what was his name from Cristobal? Was it Palumbo? Not Palumbo.
No. His name will come in.
Downing, Coach
Downing. Yes.
Yes, and he was there because he helped with all that stuff. But anyhow, long story short, I was reaching out to people that to join us and come in and talk and give us their memories of the Balboa Rams. And I was chatting with Burt Mead one day, and he's like, hey, you know what? I think this is a great idea. And he lived in Balboa. He was in the heart of Balboa, right? This guy was a Balboa person.
No, Las Cruces.
Yes. Yeah, right on Las Cruces Street. Correct. But he said, you know what, Willie? I would love to do that. He goes, but, as a ref, I had to be neutral. And so I don't want to give the appearance of being a fan of the Balboa Rams. And I'm thinking, my God, it's been 50 years. I think
him and Morris, they had their favorites. Man.
But it was really funny because that really was Burt Mead.
No, and here's another Burt Mead story. The first year that the Kiwanis played, right? Those guys used to get beat 82-0, right?
Yes.
And they went about 7 games without scoring a single touchdown. So they got close, right? And it was like third down, right? And they went up the middle, but they didn't score. And Burt Mead came out and said, 4th and this much, right?
Yes.
And the Kiwani coach thought he said touchdown. So they just all ran out. We scored. Mr. B's like, no, 4th and this much, But
he didn't have
actually, that's a Burt Mead story. He told me
that
story.
He didn't have the heart to say no. So
he didn't have the heart to say no. They all just let them have their first touchdown. Right on.
I love it. That's fantastic. So it was Bill Hanna was the other one in that picture that you had there with with Pablo Prieto and John Catanzaro.
Hey, listen, that celebration isn't tonight with the 21st. Sorry, I corrected.
Oh,
that.
okay. Well, anyway, it was a practice run. We were rehearsing, so we'll do that next week or so.
No, it already happened.
Yes, you know what? You're right. That was in Tallahassee too, wasn't it?
In Tallahassee, yes.
Yeah, I know Georgia Teak was there, and a couple other folks were there, and Steve Tochterman was there as well. So awesome. Yeah, there. This is kind of cool. I like what Ricky's doing with this because we do have pictures that pop up every so often. So
you know what, and we get them all the time. I get them all the time from all our friends. So because I love all you guys that reach out to me throughout the week. Really, it's a great thing about this podcast is I get to communicate with a lot of Zonians throughout the week. They send me pictures, and I'm always grateful. I thought, you know what? Let's just start doing friends around the world. So I think it's going to work out, Willie.
I think so.
That and our architecture. I mean, we're adding a whole bunch of stuff.
We'll get through this. We're making it more engaging.
Well, let's go, Willie. It's 35 minutes. We're 5 minutes past. Oh, my God.
Paul's been very patient there. So real quick, Jim's heading back to Washington. Cool. And Jim, I'm not sure. Were you in Arkansas or I'm not sure where you were, maybe even Florida. But, safe travels back to Washington. Steve, good to see you all. And okay, Jim. No.
Sorry.
Ref Bert is all about the $2 bills. Great guy. Celebration Life was yes, it was, and he was. I mean, this guy was just a very, very highly regarded person in the zone. Bert was a really, really great guy.
My father and him went to high school together.
Yeah.
Class of 55.
With the Mees and tackle when it rained. Yeah, no doubt.
Oh yeah, right behind.
And behind their house, you had that.
Yeah, that was their field. That was that group's field. That was their field.
Yeah.
John, you played in that field? I thought you played with us behind the Koffers.
That's funny. That is too funny.
John, John lived right between both the fields, so I guess he could play with both.
Right. All right, but
he's right in the middle.
Let's move things along then. So, like I said, because we're gonna get Paul on here, and he's got some great stuff here. So let's pay some bills with some Howler Monkey Sauce. Which, again, by the way, guys, our trivia show tonight, the winner will get a 4-pack of Howler Monkey Sauce. So make sure you say very easy to do. You don't have to download anything. You just play right through the chat. So anyhow. Here we go.
We're still looking for our Howler Monkey Hot Sauce spokesperson. Just got an email from Panama.
You've got mail.
Hey, I'm Mac, and I grew up behind Howard Air Force Base in Panama. I can talk about hot sauce. On pizza, uy, que rico. So I just miro la camera and say, I'm Mac. I grew up in these trees next to Howard Air Force Base. Hey, are we really going to Napoli? And let me tell you, the flavors of ají chombo, garlic, and onions, they each hit you one at a time, and it's so delicious. Howler Monkey Original brings the true taste ají chombo of Panama to your pizza game.
Do you know a Howler Monkey who can describe the sweet heat of our original with authentic ají chombo peppers, or the fresh punch of verde where habanero warmth meets crisp bell pepper? How about the bold tang of Amarillo, yellow Scotch bonnets blended with mustard seeds? And of course, our hot, the same great flavor as original, fired up with red habaneros for that fire. Our sauces are all natural, no preservatives, gluten-free, pure flavor and pure fire. Are you the next Howler Monkey spokesperson?
All right, guys, here we go. That's our Howler Monkey. Appreciate those guys always helping us out here on the show. But now, guys, welcome Paul Shamela on to our show here. Guys, this is a really special treat. We've got somebody that went to the zone right after Operation Just Cause. I mean, literally days after it happened, and really kind of helped secure the country and that area, and then ended up having another great adventure out there. So, Paul, welcome to the show. Happy Friday to you.
Thank you, Will. It's a pleasure to be on with you guys.
Yeah, this is great. This is fantastic. The reason I kind of came across Paul is he's going to be speaking at the reunion coming up here in Orlando, talking about his adventures in Panama, and he's an accomplished author. He's put out several books. He's got a new one out there. We're going to be talking about those as well. So if you're in Orlando, plan on that to make sure you make it to his talk and make
that's
sure you
a big gig
to get it signed. It is absolutely.
That's a big right on, man.
But so anyhow, so I reached out to Paul and I said, hey, we do this Canal Zone Friday night streaming show. We'd love to have you on and talk about your stuff. And Paul's like, heck yeah, I'd love to do that, man. So I really appreciate you doing this, Paul. So anyhow, give us a little bit of your background before and then, getting to Panama, and then we'll kind of just proceed from there.
Sure. First of all, I have to thank Kathy Mallon for inviting me to the Orlando gig. I'm pretty excited about that. I was in the Navy for a long time, and I really don't have a hometown because I moved around
Sure. Military, yeah.
So if I had to pick a hometown and do it all again, I'd go for the Zone.
Yes, right on.
You guys really have a camaraderie that inspires me.
Yeah.
Oh, right on. We appreciate that.
And this is what kind of the show's all about, which is why we we do things like where most streaming shows, you're showing pictures of somebody here and there and just friends and hanging out and stuff. But that's kind of the essence of Zonians, is that, even if I haven't seen or heard from you in 30 or 40 years, if I run into you, it's as if we hung out last weekend.
Yeah,
And it's
that's
so cool.
That's the same way. That's the same relationship I have with my classmates from the Naval Academy.
I'm sure.
And the older we get, the closer we get, which is pretty interesting.
Yeah, certainly.
But I normally introduce myself using 4 words.
Okay.
SEAL, lecturer, writer, and caregiver. And those words.
Wait. You need to add a 5. You got 5 fingers. Zonian.
Okay. I'll add that with pleasure.
Right on.
No, those are kind of the 4 phases of my adult life so far.
Mm-hmm.
I'm equally proud of all of them. And right now I'm a caregiver, but I've got great memories from all the other phases in my life. I served as a Navy SEAL for 22 years after destroyer duty in the Pacific at the end of the Vietnam War.
Wow.
After I left active duty, I spent 20 years teaching strategy at the Naval Postgraduate School in Monterey, California. Not a bad place to live.
No.
Pretty close to where Ricky lives.
Yes.
We spent a lot of time in the Bay Area.
I was supposed to be there this Sunday, but our weather is a little harsh.
Yeah, I always said it was about 20 degrees too cold. And that's about right. But then I ended up in Houston, where it's 20 degrees too warm. So Panama was perfect. It was just perfect. And then when I retired from government, I wrote a trilogy of thriller novels, which we'll talk about, based on some of my experiences in Panama and throughout Latin America.
Right.
Then my wife got Alzheimer's, and so she's now in memory care with limited time. I wrote a memoir about her journey, which I'm quite proud of, but I won't write any more fiction until she's gone.
Right.
But I wanted to say the first time I visited Panama, I had no idea I was actually going to be stationed there. I was under a parachute, actually, and it was pitch dark, and we were doing what's called a rubber duck drop, which is we have a Zodiac full of our gear loaded in the back of a C-130, and then we kick the boat out the back and we follow it, and then we swim to the boat, unrig it, and we're off on our merry way.
Now, how high up are you when you do that?
What happened was that the drop was supposed to take place 6 miles east of the Canal entrance on the Caribbean side, and the drop went perfectly, except for the fact that we were 6 miles west of the drop zone. So the first thing I noticed when I splashed into the ocean was that we were right in the shipping channel.
Oh, very nice.
We were about half a mile from the entrance to the Caribbean end of the canal, and there was a big ship bearing down on me and my men. So we dropped our chutes and swam for our lives. Nobody died.
Welcome to the Canal Zone.
Yes,
Love it, man.
But
There isn't a better
when you're
way.
in the water and looking up at a huge merchant ship, and it looks much bigger from in the water, and you know that nobody on the bridge can see you.
Right.
And even if they could, they wouldn't be able to stop in time. So
Sure.
we had a close.
Well, the
call.
idea as a SEAL dropping in there is to not be seen.
That's exactly right. And
So-
and it did occur to me that
Yeah.
our stealth could have gotten us killed.
Yeah, indeed.
Anyway, that was 1978, and
Okay.
I guess Ricky, you were in high school.
78, yeah, 10th grade.
Yeah. The Carter-Torrijos treaties had just been signed.
Yes.
Correct. Hadn't gone into
SEALs
effect
had
yet.
no permanent presence in Panama. But I spent 2 weeks living in the jungle at Fort Sherman, and it was November, and it never stopped raining.
Yes. The end of the rainy season is the heaviest part, as obviously
Yeah,
you know now.
and I loved it. I just loved it, and we SEALs really liked the mud, and and so we had a good exercise. Little did I know that a decade later I'd have an office at the other end of the canal.
Sure.
So that was pretty interesting. When I got my orders to Panama in 1989, my wife's first reaction was, "I'm not going." And I said, "Well, that's okay, dear, because you can't go anyway, because
You weren't invited.
The Navy is not letting dependents go down there because of what may happen with Noriega and the PDF." But I had to move her to California before I went to Panama. So they kicked off the invasion without me. I got down there as quick as I could. And to be honest, there was still a lot left to do. And so I participated in the aftermath, which was also pretty interesting. But after we took care of Noriega and the PDF, I coaxed my wife into coming down. And 2 years later, I had to drag her out of there.
Sure, absolutely.
We
here's
agreed.
somebody. Sorry to interrupt, but here's somebody that played a very pivotal role in your wife's reluctance to leave Panama. Saying hello to us there is Don and Marcia Cat.
Yeah, well, they're prominent in my story.
Yes.
Eva, my wife, was lucky enough to become friends with Marcia, and she got into the women's circle who's new in Panama, and our social life blossomed from there. Eva ended up enjoying that tour much more than any other, and that includes going back to Germany where she came from.
Right.
She wanted to stay, and I wanted to stay, and the Navy said to me, "If you stay, you won't get promoted." And to this day, I think maybe I made the wrong decision.
Yeah, well, yeah, I can understand that. I mean, it is, we obviously are biased because we grew up down there. But like I said before, there's so many people have said to us, of all my deployments, Panama was by far the best. And you can see why. I mean, there's so many reasons for it. But, it was funny when we were chatting, before you came on the show, kind of getting to know each other and whatnot. You mentioned, that you guys met the Cats, and I was like, wow, what a small world, because they were my next door neighbors in Los Rios. And in fact, you guys talk about, being avid fishermen and love fishing and everything. And that's the first thing my dad said when I mentioned it to me. He goes, every time that Don went out fishing, he'd come back with all these fish, and he'd always have a bag of fish for me. It was great because my dad was the last person in the world that would go fishing, but he loved to eat fish. So it worked out great to have a neighbor like Don Katz. That's for sure.
And one thing every Zonian's going to ask you is, and where did you live while you were in Panama?
I lived at Marine Barracks, uphill from the pool at Rodman, on the top of the hill, which is now a very expensive condominium neighborhood.
Anything on a hill,
we had a view of Ancon Hill, and we could watch ships go back and forth in the canal, and
fantastic.
It was magic.
Yeah.
Oh, Hiroko out there as well. I remember
we
the
had
pool.
four of the holes on Hiroko Golf Course are right in front of the house. So, we could go out
if there was
and play
ever a
golf
membership
on
has
those
its
4
privileges,
holes
this
without
is it.
paying.
Yeah, and in my age group, we always went to a burger place on that back gate. I don't know if you guys remember that out there.
Oh yeah.
But there was it was probably, and they you got the burgers in the brown paper bags and the French fries in the brown paper bags. Remember that, guys? Yes.
Yeah, they had a good officers club and
we got all our booze there as well. For
Sure.
some reason, I think it's just because of our Canal Zone plates. But getting into Rodman and all these, I know all the guys in my age group are going to agree with me. It was a piece of cake. There was never a problem getting in there. You know, like I said, we went to your package store, we went to your officers club, we went to your hamburger spots, we went to your
important
pool.
memories.
Because that pool was cool. You guys had a big pool, I remember.
That was a 50-meter pool.
Oh, was that Olympic?
It was. We used to. My unit would run down there once a week, and we'd play water polo.
Yes.
And it was great. I mean, those are some terrific memories.
Yeah, Robin, we talk mostly about Howard, Albrook, Clayton. We rarely mention Rodman, so I'm glad you're on to give us some Rodman stories.
Well, I told you guys the other day that I went back as a lecturer, and I was lucky enough to get back and have a class of Panamanian public forces personnel.
Right.
And so they gave me and my colleague hats from the Panamanian Aeronaval. And so we were wearing those hats when we went back to Rodman. I said, let's go back to Rodman and check it out. Let's see if we can get aboard and see where my old office was. And it was all locked up. But the guy saw our hats and he opened it up and he waved us through and we took a tour. It was great.
This is the hat right there on the screen, guys, that he's got the picture of. Seals and boats, right? It's a commemorative hat, right? It's not an official hat by any stretch.
Yeah.
But it was enough for them to say, hey, these guys are official. Let's get them on.
Well, the Seals and Boats was a buzzword for our operational style. I don't remember ever sending SEALs anywhere in Latin America without boats. And I don't remember sending boats anywhere without SEALs. We looked at that as a force package, and it worked really well for us.
No bet. And then Eric's mentioning good fishing off from Rodman Pier. Yeah, it was there, and you could see the same thing on the spinning club side. You always there was good fishing out there on the entrance to the canal. It seemed.
Yeah.
Wait, wasn't there a roller skating ring out there as well?
Yes.
I think I recall roller skating out there as well. Yeah,
when the one in Balboa closed off of Section I, yes, you had to go to Rodman to go roller skating, and it was similar. I think it was a little bit shorter but wider. But I do remember that one a lot because we used to go there a lot. Gary Klingon used to. Of all people, Gary Klingon was quite the roller skater. So
you guys, what really struck me was you guys had everything that a 1950s, Midwest small town would have.
Yes,
absolutely,
100%.
And it had that feel.
Yes,
very
much a Norman Rockwell, amazing. Just a little bit newer.
Yeah.
Absolutely, yes.
I mean, very nostalgic, and that's one of the things we learned about the history of the Canal Zone. Certainly, way back in the day when the construction, and even shortly after the construction, Panama wasn't the friendliest, nicest, most pleasurable place like it was now. And so, the U.S. government went out of their way to provide as much comfort and enjoyment and leisure and entertainment to make sure that people stayed there. And as it turns out, once we grew up, we're like, holy cow, this place is great. It was fantastic.
No, it's amazing. I remember when we took Guillermo Endara into the Canal Zone, or the former Canal Zone, as part of his indoctrination as president.
Right.
He had never been in the zone, obviously, and he was overwhelmed.
Yes.
I mean, he was in tears.
Right.
He said, I had no idea that I was going to inherit all this.
Right.
And
back then it was still looking like the zone. It still had that hate to
pristine,
say it, that clean look. It was well manicured, taken care of. It was orderly and whatnot. Even the mayor of Panama City today, which is a guy that's very dynamic and doing a lot of things to clean up Panama City. One of the things he references is the old Canal Zone. He goes, I'd love Panama City to look like the old Canal Zone because it was so pristine and it was, like our backdrop that we had earlier there. That's, when you take all that other stuff out of the picture there, that is an iconic shot of the admin building. It was purposely done that way. And those royal palms and everything, it really is synonymous to what the Canal Zone was, a wonderful place, adventurous and fun and everything. But at the end of the day, it was a really, really beautiful, iconic, nostalgic, like you say, an old town America. You know?
Yeah, I just have vivid memories of. One of my vivid memories, by the way, is running over the Bridge of the Americas with my unit.
How about that?
And we would have been engulfed in flames
Sure.
a few days ago, but we would run across the bridge and try not to step in the hatches that that would have taken us down into the water.
Yeah.
And then we went to we went down along the causeway and climbed down the rocks and swam out to the pilot pier. And until I found out that the coliform count on near the pilot pier was, really, really high. So I couldn't in good conscience keep doing that. So we found another place to swim, but running over that bridge was pretty cool.
I'll bet. That's, and there again, that's part of that.
Yeah, how many Zonians can say that? They ran over the bridge.
Very few, if any.
It was better than running over the Golden Gate Bridge, I can tell you that.
That's that's a long, that's right across the street from here.
Well, and being in from out in Monterey, you would probably have experienced both of those. So
yes, absolutely.
That is amazing.
I wrote down some other memories quickly.
Yes, please.
We spent some time over at Fort Lorenzo and Fort San Lorenzo, and I just love that place. And one reason is because I had this romantic notion of pirates back in those days.
Right.
And the story of Morgan the pirate who came ashore and, attacked Panama City from the backside. I mean, that's how I would have done it.
Yeah, right.
So it caused me to remember that I told my parents when I was a kid that I wanted to be a pirate. I grew up with all these pirate movies, and they sat me down and said, "Look, you can't do that."
So the next best thing is a SEAL.
It's immoral and illegal. And we're not going to let you do that. So I became a Navy SEAL, which is the next best thing.
Yes, there you go. Absolutely.
Makes total sense. Navy SEALs are interesting people. There's a continuum with pirates on one end and Jedi Knights on the other end. Okay. And the job of an officer is to keep his young testosterone-fueled SEALs closer to the Jedi end than to the pirate end.
Easier said than done.
That was a leadership challenge, I can tell you. But we used to go scuba diving in Isla Grande. We spent weekends in Boquete. We do day trips to El Valle, where I almost got bitten by a fer-de-lance.
Yes, they're very aggressive, so I'm not surprised.
Yeah,
we've spoken about that. We've spoken of that snake. It's one of the tougher ones.
It is. Well, because it'll chase you. Other ones are like, okay, if you back off, it's like, okay, you got the hint. The fer-de-lance is like, I'm gonna teach you a lesson, man. It'll keep chasing you.
Yeah, that would have been pretty bad.
The honey badger of snakes.
But the Panama City was just really exciting. I mean, dining at 1985. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that.
Sure.
Condadora, everything about Condadora. Getting arrested in Costa Rica. I mean, if we had more time, I could tell you that story.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, and you mentioned Summit. We were tasked to take down one of the old radio antennas that was a hazard to navigation, air flight. And so we put explosives on that tower, which was right next to the canal, on the Panama City side.
Yeah, right.
And we took it down. It was funny because I was standing on the other side of the canal with a radio, and I was looking up and down the canal to make sure there was no traffic coming.
That's hilarious.
In case it went to the water, which it didn't. Of course. We tried to make it fall the other way. But the story I never told anybody was that there was a thunderstorm fast approaching when my guys were on the tower rigging the explosives. And by the time they got to the bottom of the tower where they could jump off, they could feel the electricity.
Ooh.
And they came very close to getting electrocuted.
Yikes.
We didn't put that in the report.
No. You don't want to do that.
Yeah, so all those memories are,
That's
always fresh.
Now, so you go to take that tower down, and so this is obviously a military run operation.
Yeah.
So the Canal Authority didn't play a role in that.
I don't remember if they did. We got our our orders through the military chain.
Sure.
It was a military installation. I'm sure that somebody coordinated with the Panama Canal.
At least give them a heads up.
Just be on the lookout for a tower crashing into the canal in case something goes wrong.
Otherwise, no big deal.
But it went fine.
That's great. So now let's go back to your Panama deployment. Now, you arrived 2 days after Operation Just Cause kicked off, right? So thereabouts the 22nd of December.
Yeah, it was a few days. I think it was like 3 days.
Okay.
I mean, we had some. I mean, the unit that I ended up commanding did some fighting at Paitilla that didn't turn out too well.
The one at the airport, right? That we're all
at the airport. And I'd like to think that if I'd been there earlier, I could have done that differently. I would have done it differently. But that's water under the bridge.
Correct.
There was still a lot left to do. Just Cause didn't end the day after the invasion. There was still a lot of cleanup work to do.
Right.
And we did that. Basically, we put SEALs in the field in the most remote locations where there might be PDF holdouts, and there were some. There was no firefighting or anything like that, but it was
prevent
it was good
insurgency
to
from
get people
up.
out in the jungle and
did they know you guys were coming after them? Like, were they running from you, or did you guys just surprise them?
I don't think they did. There weren't that many of them, but we were just checking and making sure that these areas were were not used as hiding places. I sent a patrol out to Coiba Island. I wish I could have gone with them.
Brought your snorkeling gear.
Yeah, what a great place. So we did some of that.
Let me ask you this. Was there concern about Cuban forces there? Because prior to that, there was a lot of rumors and stuff that there was Cuban military in Panama, and that, in fact, they'd had some firefights out near Rodman out there at one point.
We by the time I got there, I never saw any Cubans.
Okay.
They could well have been there as advisors.
Sure.
The way they were in Grenada.
Right.
And Venezuela.
Especially in Venezuela.
Yeah.
But Venezuela was not Panama. We actually did regime change, and we had a new regime ready to go, and we plugged them in, and that was a real success.
Yeah.
But we had prepared the battlefield, we had prepared the administrative battlefield, and they had already been elected, so it was really pretty straightforward to put the Endara government in place of Noriega.
Right.
My wife usually credits me. She used to credit me for coming up with the plan to play rock music at the Papal Nunciatura.
Oh, you're the guy behind that.
But no, I wasn't. I mean,
it wasn't you? Okay.
No, it wasn't.
I was saying, great selection of songs.
Yeah, it was the Army psychological operations guys, and they're really good at that. They picked the right titles and they had the right
very
volume.
purposeful.
I was there when he came out.
You mess with the law.
He wasn't going to last long, not with that music.
Yeah, I can imagine.
But
and then you talked about going around and picking up weapons because there were weapons caches around and stuff.
We had Panamanian friends. Let's call them friends because this was not CIA stuff, but we had people in town and in the interior who were looking, and they were actually, some of them were buying weapons off the street and bringing them into us, and then we would take them up to Southcom.
Wow.
I told you guys the day after General Thurman announced that there were no heavy weapons left on the street, we presented him with a 120 millimeter mortar.
That's crazy.
I was kind of happy about that.
Yeah,
but the
yeah,
general wasn't very happy.
That was good. That was the people that we knew were out there beating the bushes, literally.
Sure.
Because it's their country.
Right, of course. Well, and as you say, all of this was planned and set up right ahead of time so that you were able to accomplish all these things smoothly. And the average person, certainly a war is going to impact anybody, but
sure.
If you look at it versus other, military conflicts of this nature, this one came and went pretty fast.
Yeah, it did. There were some real hiccups, but there always are.
Sure.
I think I mean, we went in after I got there. We went in and searched one of Noriega's residents in San Carlos, and went in there early in the morning. His servants were there. There were some Molotov cocktails there, but really nothing else. But I can remember coming out, going down the main street of San Carlos, and we had a standing ovation. It was kind of like a ticker tape parade. That told me a lot about the average Panamanian's attitude.
Now, were you guys in gear, or you guys civilian clothes?
We were.
This is a mission.
We were all jocked up. Sure,
right on.
Because we didn't know what we were going to find.
Right.
What would you say was the biggest challenge that you guys came across that may have been unexpected?
Well, I told you that one of the first missions I got was to reconstitute the Panamanian Navy.
Right.
Which was kind of interesting because they didn't have a Navy because we destroyed it.
Sure.
But we met with them a few times, and it was a little bit awkward at first, but we developed a bond with them, and then we Ambassador Hinton came in, and the first thing he did was take the mission away from me and give it to the Coast Guard.
Oh no.
Yeah, I mean, realistically, that was probably where it belonged, but the Coast Guard, wasn't there in numbers. And the kinds of patrol boats that the Panamanians needed to replace the Vosper, were Coast Guard patrol boats. So it made sense. Our patrol boats were smaller, and most of them were quite a bit smaller. So, I was fine with that. Not that the ambassador would have listened to me, but,
of course.
We had plenty of other stuff to do. In fact, the action shifted pretty quickly from Panama to downrange, especially the Andean Ridge, because
downrange meaning South America,
right, and also Central America. But South America was where the cartels were pumping out cocaine, and they were transporting it in large quantities by air, by river, and by road. And the thinking was that if you interdicted them or prevented them from using roads, rivers, and air corridors, you could shrink the supply and make the price of cocaine in the United States go way up and the purity go way down.
Try and shrink the demand.
Yeah, I mean, those were the measures of effectiveness, up at the Washington level.
Okay.
And I think we did have some influence on the amount of cocaine that was making it into the country. But, there was so much, and there's still so much.
Right. So it was almost like trying to bomb the Ho Chi Minh Trail.
What's that?
It's almost like trying to bomb the Ho Chi Minh Trail. And
yeah, well, exactly. But it was great training. I mean, we built riverine interdiction programs in a number of countries: Bolivia, Ecuador, Peru, Colombia, and we worked with really every military and police institution that needed the help. So my guys were always busy, and I was always down there right with them, and we really, I think, did a lot of good. It was certainly the kind of what we call it in the military is foreign internal defense, but it was building alliances
Sure.
for a common purpose, and
Right.
that made it really satisfying. We did a lot of work in Central America too. Um, I, I mean, the Civil War in El Salvador has been forgotten, but I promised the chief of the Salvadoran Navy right in the beginning, because he was, they were fighting. I said, I'm going to send a platoon up here every month, and we're gonna do whatever we can to get you, ready and keep you ready. And so we had a relationship with them that wasn't well reported.
Sure.
But we did a lot of humanitarian work in Honduras at Joint Task Force Bravo. A lot of exercises using all of Central American countries. I can remember going across the Gulf of Fonseca from Honduras to El Salvador in a Honduran patrol boat to a celebration in La Union. And it was remarkable because Honduras and El Salvador had not been getting along very well.
Right.
In fact, you may remember the soccer war of 1969.
Yes.
So we had an opportunity to build bridges and build bridges for other countries to go across.
Yeah, and what he's referring to, guys, is in '69 there was a World Cup qualifier, and the result of that was that the two countries went to war. I mean, they really literally declared war. I mean, it was bizarre.
Yeah, well, they take their football pretty seriously.
Indeed.
Yeah,
they do.
But it was fun to see them coming together.
Sure. Sure.
And of course, the Gulf of Fonseca is a pretty interesting place anyway. I actually feature that in one of the novels.
Okay.
And I was telling you guys about the recovery of bodies from the Condor plane crash.
Oh, yes.
That was quite interesting. With the families on the beach waiting for us to bring the body bags in, it was really hard.
Well, let's start from the beginning with this story, because this is an important story.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was an Air Perlas. You guys remember that used to fly out of the old Paitilla Airport, and it was a Twin Otter. Those were those twin turboprop high wing planes that you could fly out to Contador. I know I did it with my family as kids. We went out there and spent the weekend and stuff. And
well, they
were pretty safe. I remember
they crashed into the ocean shortly after takeoff at Condadora, and nobody knew where the plane was. Two people popped out and lived, but 20 people were killed. So we had to find the plane, which took a while.
Sure.
And then we had to get the bodies out, which also took a while because, well, not to be too graphic, but they were pretty well crammed in there.
Sure.
So it was in about 100 feet of water, which doesn't sound that deep, but for scuba, air scuba, that's a deep dive.
Okay.
Right.
Let me ask you.
You can only spend about 8-10 minutes at that level, right?
Yeah, your bottom time is severely limited, and you got to be really careful you don't.
Is that because of the compression, the weight of the water?
Yeah, and seals are not really divers. Some people call us combat divers. We're more combat swimmers.
Right.
Our business is usually, 25 feet to the surface, but it was good to get those relatively deep dives in.
Sure. Well, let me ask you on that note. You said you had to search for the plane. How does one go about that? Because we always hear stuff in the news, right? Like a Malaysian plane, and obviously you're doing some kind of a racetrack pattern. But what is it exactly that you're doing? How are you looking for the plane when you're doing that stuff?
Well, you basically you make a line abreast, and you get close, and you get a line of divers close enough to the bottom, and then you just swim on a compass course.
Wow, so you literally are swimming just to look for it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Wow. So I thought it was like with boats and sonar or whatever else, but you're literally swimming.
Or like the new technology that just came out.
We had 65-foot Mark III patrol boats, which, they have radar, but they don't have sonar.
Okay.
and you know, just what we call the Mark I Mod Zero eyeball, and the water actually out there was, at least that day, was pretty murky. So it took a while. In fact, some of the Panamanian scuba divers that we actually knew had come out and they were helping us.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So you know that took. Well, we had to go back the next day and get one more of the deceased. But that was, you know, basically a 1 day operation.
Sure.
But I jumped at anything that would serve the people of Panama and you know, remind them that we were there for all the right reasons.
Sure.
And which is you're doing it exactly that right now in Panama.
Right. It's kind of round two again now that because even like Gamboa looks like Gamboa is now being purchased by the government to become basically a special forces town. So I imagine that the U.S. military will be playing a role in that as well. But another role, something else that you did that we've talked about a little bit, and some people might remember a few things about this area, Empire Range. You know, we knew Empire Range back in the day because that was a place where there was mortar practice. And, you know, we were talking the other day about there was an errant mortar shot that actually went into the pool in Paraíso. And you know, and the Army finally came in and said, oh, yeah, that was ours. Sorry.
Yeah.
You know, my bad. But what was your Empire Range story? Because you did something a little bit different there, didn't you?
Yeah. Right after I got down there, I said, well, we need is a range where we can fire from the boats into the jungle to support the insertion and extraction of seals. And that's a tricky operation that needs to be practiced frequently. So we found a place on the edge of the canal. It doesn't front on the main part of the canal, but there's a series of islands. You're familiar with it.
Of course.
On the lake?
So it's between the lake and Rodman. It's actually pretty close to the Smithsonian.
Okay.
And you know, back then you didn't really need permission to do anything. So we just went in there and established ourselves and started training. And it was good. That was some of the best training we had ever had, because we could fire the 50 caliber machine guns, which is, you know, that's the weapon you need when you want to, you know, get seals out of a jam. But with an interesting epilogue to that is my secretary was married to a man named Juan Mendez, who had gone to Ecuador for a corporation job that he had, but he came back to Panama after the turnover, the handover. And soon after that, he called me and he said, hey, remember me? I said, of course. He said, I'm the guy that has to clean up the damage from your training.
Oh, no.
He said, I've got to go out there and recover all this expended, ammo boxes and cartridges and, you know, and if you left any live stuff there, you know, I'm going to have to do that. So I worked with him a little bit.
Oh, that's funny.
And
so y'all didn't clean up your mess after you went out there partying.
Yeah. Well, it was all it was all good natured. We were really good friends, but
sure.
You know, that was a consequence of the handover that, you know, I wasn't there at the time that we did the handover, but I certainly started the accumulation of stuff that had to be cleaned up.
Yeah, you know, one of Zonian kids, one of our most common toolboxes were those ammo boxes. Almost every Zonian kid had that as their toolbox.
Sure. You always have one of those.
They're good for almost everything.
Yeah,
and they're kind of cool. You know, I mean,
yes,
it's a real status symbol to have a piece of military kit like that.
Yeah, right. Yeah, no kidding. No kidding.
But you were asking me about operations. That there was another. I can't remember the name of it, but I can say that, and you may remember this, that the United States was getting rid of chemical weapons in Europe, and so they had a merchant ship full of chemical weapons that was predicted to come through the Panama Canal on its way to the South Sea Islands. I think it was Johnson Island where they were going to burn those weapons.
Okay.
So the prospect of that ship coming through the canal, really put people on edge.
Heck
So
yeah.
we participated in the preparation for that with the 193rd Brigade and some other units. And then at the last minute, our government decided to send it around Cape Horn.
Oh wow. Interesting.
But we were ready to impose a much higher level of security.
Right.
Almost a Secret Service level of security. And by we, I mean all of us
Right.
stationed there.
And when was that? What year was that roughly?
Oh boy, it must have been in 1991.
Okay.
Maybe in the beginning of the year. I can't remember.
Okay.
Sitting here.
But was this on the news, or this is like top secret stuff that we're all finding out now?
It was. I mean, it was pretty closely guarded at the time, and if we had actually had the transit, I wouldn't be talking about it.
Mm-hmm. I'll bet. Yeah. That's my dad. I remember my dad was a Canal Zone police officer, and he tells stories about working with the military on, some things that at the time you didn't talk about, but the canal being a neutral, entity, you couldn't select who's allowed to transit or not, but you always knew who was transiting. And so he picked somebody up in Amador at the Navy base there, drove him right just south of Miraflores Locks by the swing bridge down there, got out, put a suitcase down, turned it on, and waited a little while. A ship went through, and then they loaded up and off they went. And he's like, I don't know what it was, but obviously it wasn't anything we're supposed to know about. But
well, there was a lot of secret squirrel stuff going on.
I'll bet.
Some of which I had a role in, but obviously not going to talk about it.
Sure, no, of course.
Yeah, but most of the action for most of my tour was outside of Panama, which was a good thing. I mean, we had used force to produce the result that Panama, has been on this track of being a democratic, very prosperous country.
Yeah, going
I
on
think
30 plus years now.
Yeah, Panama used to have the best economy in Latin America. I don't know if it has that this year, but I do know that it's in the top 3 of
it's in the top 3, but that's the entire, including South America. In Central America, they're number 1.
Yeah, that's right. But in all of Latin America, they're even beating most of the South American countries.
Yeah, only I think Argentina and
I
Brazil
think Chile
and Chile.
Chile is usually up there, but it's as an expat destination, it's either number 1 or number 2. I mean, it's
Panama right now, Boquete. Well, depends on who's,
Boquete has
who's
been
reporting
mentioned.
that.
But they saw what Costa Rica had done, and I think they did as good or even better at attracting American retirees.
Yeah, certainly.
It's
always nice to have a U.S. dollar to spend as your currency. It's easy to figure out your budgets. It's easy to do all that stuff. And English is spoken pretty much across the country, it seems. So it's again, it's very friendly in that sense.
Right.
It definitely makes sense.
No, it's a great place.
So now let's talk about your writing, because what you do now, like you said, you are 4 different personas, or as Ricky corrected, 5 different personas.
Yeah.
One of them is a writer. Give us your background on writing, and then we're going to start talking about these books that you came out with, because there's some really cool books here.
Yeah. I've always wanted to write. My mother inspired me to write, and I never had time to do it. I had a Navy career, then I had a teaching career for the Navy, and so it wasn't until I retired from the government that I had time to actually sit down and write fiction. In fact, my retirement dream from the first time I retired was to go back to Carmel Valley and sit on the hill and write novels and be a volunteer fireman. And my wife kept telling me, dear, that's probably not going to work. As usual,
We have
she
a
was
Canal
right.
pilot doing a transit, checking in on us.
Oh, very good, Captain Andrew. Right
Captain
on,
Ender.
brother.
He's in the middle of the Gatun Lake. Sorry I had to interrupt you, but we
No, that's
love
okay.
to let people know about these things that are happening in our show.
Tell him that in my book, The Dictator's Revenge, it starts with the kidnapping of a pilot, but the pilot doesn't get killed.
Oh, there you go. There you go. Then he'll like
I
that.
told that to my friend Don as I was writing the book. I said, I
That's
promise I
funny.
won't kill him.
I think Andrew read the book or
Andrew
something.
was he's a canal pilot. He's been a canal pilot for many years. He actually was port captain at one point in Balboa there. So I'm not
great.
sure if maybe there was some interactions at some point. Who knows? But
Yeah.
But yeah, he's a good guy and definitely a friend of the show. But he chimed in one time on a ship, and we actually got him to blow the horn. It was really cool.
Oh, that's
I was
great.
like, yeah, that was a little highlight there. But
well, so I had to get a second career in
Right.
order to stay in California. So that's how I ended up teaching for 20 years. But I started writing fiction the day after I retired, and I wrote a trilogy that I call the Jungle Rules trilogy, and it's a saga of 4 SEALs, and they're fighting the forces of evil in Latin America. The Dictator's Revenge introduces the characters, and they're on active duty, stationed, in on the bases in Panama, and they end up with the mission to recover this captured canal pilot. Nobody knows who took him. Nobody knows where he is. So there's a race to figure it out, and then they find out that's just the beginning. That's the opening act of a very complex and violent series of events, and they finally figure out that the canal itself is being targeted. I always wondered what Noriega might do to take revenge on the United States and the Panamanian government. So I came up with this idea that, well, maybe he, contacted his favorite drug lord and
of course,
and offered him $100 million to destroy the canal because he didn't need the money. So he's sitting in a Florida prison saying, if I can't have the canal, nobody's going to have it.
there you go.
So he turns this through a priest as an intermediary. He gives the mission to this drug lord, and the drug lord turns out to be a brilliant strategist. And so it's kind of interesting that there's lots of plot twists, and it's basically a tour of Panama from the canal to the Perilous to Darien, with a side trip to Nicaragua. So I tried to make it sound a little bit like a Dan Brown novel, where there's action going all the time, and you're out of breath. So I don't know anything about marketing, but I tell the literary agents and publishers that I do talk to that this is a movie waiting to happen. I'm still waiting. So if you know anybody, let me know. But this is the book. If you read any of the 3 books, this is the one to read first, because it's chronologically the first one. Although the first book I wrote was actually Jungle Rules, which is a sequel now to The Dictator's Revenge, and that's the 5 years later, 5 years after the Panama caper. These same 4 guys are tasked by the CIA to go down and kidnap a cartel leader hiding in Brazil, actually. And so they do. And the rest of the novel describes how the government, the United States government, and these four SEALs deal with the consequences of the kidnapping, because the law of unintended consequences is always there, and there's a lot of unintended consequences in the wake of this kidnapping. And at first, when I wrote it, I thought, this is kind of crazy. Nobody's going to buy it. But the farther we went into, the development of the United States foreign policy apparatus, the more it started sounding like maybe it would actually be something that they would do.
Sure. Now, let me ask you real quick. When you started writing these books, obviously you're going to use a lot of your experience and your knowledge,
Right.
in these covert operations and stuff.
Yeah.
Do you have to clear it with the Pentagon before you're able to write, or how does that work?
I didn't, and the reason I didn't was because it was so long ago,
Okay.
and it doesn't involve anything really technical.
Okay.
That's what they really want to preserve, is the proprietary nature of certain weapon systems and their components.
Sure.
I'm pretty old school. When I was in the teams, we didn't have a lot of money.
Okay.
So we used, pretty basic stuff. And so everything in the books, are things that I've either done or trained to do.
Right.
And that was a lot of fun to put all that into a story. But I didn't, maybe I should have, but it never occurred to me to try and bounce it off the Pentagon. I don't think that I could even, I just don't.
Well, I would imagine if something was at issue, you would have heard something by now.
I definitely would have gotten a knock on the door.
Right.
Because the books have been, distributed fairly widely.
Right.
No, nobody's ever said anything about it.
Okay. All right. So let's do this then. Let's go back. You said that the books are they're not in chronological order per se, right? In other words, you wrote them in a different order than what one
Right.
should read them.
Yeah, I wrote Jungle Rules, and I set the action in 1998.
Okay.
And for whatever reason, that just seemed like a good year.
Sure.
And so I was having so much fun, I decided to write a sequel. And I wanted to write something about domestic terrorism, which has very little to do with Panama, but it was my intent to use the characters that survived in the first book, in the second book, and I developed a fictional terrorist organization hiding inside a militia in Wyoming, and actually there's a plot that involves California.
Well, there you go.
But basically it starts out with a tourist is killed at the Air and Space Museum in Washington by a bomb, a pipe bomb, and then the FBI recruits his widow to go undercover with this militia. They think that they don't have enough evidence to arrest anybody, but they need a confidential informant. They need her to get married because the group wants its members to be married. So she marries one of the SEALs who has been featured in the previous book, and they go undercover, and then all hell breaks loose.
No doubt.
So I had a lot of fun with that.
Okay.
I really like Wyoming, and I spent some time out there. And
did you spend time out there to research for the book?
Yeah.
Cool. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's part of the fun of writing.
Yeah, I'll bet.
You have an excuse to go somewhere and
there you go.
Just get to know things and people.
Yeah, that's great.
So I wrote that, and I was still having a lot of fun, and I decided that I needed to write a prequel to Jungle Rules.
Okay.
And I'd always wanted to write a novel just about Panama. So this was the opportunity to do that. And so I went back to 1993, which is the year after I left, and built that scenario I just described.
Sure. Well, especially with you being gone, it is truly a fiction then at that point because you're
Yeah.
not there.
Yeah.
You know?
Nobody can say, I mean, people say all the time, say to me, that sounds a lot like something that you actually did. And I have to say, no, I'm sorry. I wish I had.
It wasn't nearly that fun.
It's the stories are fiction, but everything else is real. I mean, everything
Sure.
else is realistic. And I wanted it that way because a lot of the thriller novels that you read are a lot of fun to read. But
Right.
they have human beings doing things that are totally undoable for a human being.
Right.
And I just wanted to have action that I've either experienced myself or trained to do.
Sure. So you kind of, or Carl, you live vicariously through Carl Malinowski, or vice versa in the
Yes.
story. Is that kind of a fair
Yeah,
assessment?
I mean, some people say that he's me. He's not me, but you can't create a character like that without putting a lot of yourself into it.
course.
So I made him, the type of leader and the type of SEAL that I always wanted to be.
Okay.
And sometimes I was and sometimes I wasn't. But so Carl was sort of the ideal lead character. And
Okay.
then all the others were composites of people that I had known and worked with
Sure.
over the years.
So when somebody's going to read these books, then what you're saying is pick up the Dictator's Revenge, read that one first.
Yeah, I would do that, especially this audience. I mean, the Panama Canal is, front and center.
Right.
And it would be difficult if you're a Zonian to not read the first one.
Right.
About the canal. And the books all connect. I mean, it is a saga, and all the characters. Not all the characters make it through all three books, but
which is reality.
Yeah, but they, the second book refers to the first book, and the third book refers to the second book, and there's just a lot of connections that I was careful about making.
Sure. Well, you make them where again it's relatable. It takes you back to the previous book, and so
Yeah.
you kind of feel that connection there. So on here in Jungle Rules, you talked about a little bit where he your character now. This is fast forward to what, 1998?
Yeah, 1998, and it starts with the kidnapping.
Kidnapping of a Panama Canal pilot.
No, that's the Dictator's Revenge.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Okay.
I'm really into kidnappings.
Yeah, it
I
sounds
have to
like
say.
it.
The Jungle Rules is a kidnapping of a drug lord, and it turns out he's the same cartel leader that tried to destroy the Panama Canal
okay. So that's where the carryover comes in.
There's as much continuity as I could build in.
I like it. And then you talk about that a midlife crossroads. It says your Carl must choose between the life he has and the life he desires. What are we talking about there? Because we want to get to know this Carl guy because he's someone we're going to follow and become our hero, right?
Yeah. I wrote him that way. I call him the thinking man's warrior. He is an avid reader. He enjoys reading about history and philosophy, and I mean, he's kind of a Renaissance man. But he just happens to be really good in the field.
Right. He's also a good warrior.
But the CIA is not really where he wanted to end up. But they recruited him after the Panama Canal caper, and he's been doing odd jobs for them for 5 years, and he's kind of tired of it.
Right.
He comes to the point. He's looking at his captive cartel leader on the plane on the way back, and he's saying to himself, I don't know if this is good for my country. I don't even know if it's good for me. And then when he gets back, he meets the girl of his dreams, and suddenly he wants to be a husband.
Okay.
So he has to choose.
Sure.
He leads a double life for as long as he can, but he has to choose one thing over the other.
Now, would you say that in a way kind of resembles part of your life? Because you mentioned Panama's a great place, but you were gone a lot of times.
Yeah, I mean it. Sure. I mean, I had a. I was married very young to a girl who was also too young, and our marriage only lasted 5 years, and the biggest reason for that was because I was always gone.
Right.
So in my second marriage, which is my final marriage,
right,
I was a little more careful.
Sure.
But I was still gone a lot, and I had to make sure that that Eva, my wife, had a situation where she would be okay when I was gone. And in Panama, she was more than okay. I mean, it was almost like I came back and she'd say, "Oh, you again?
When you leaving again?"
I said, I've got a luncheon to go to, and then I'm going to teach a course to the Panamanians at Florida State. So I'll see you for dinner. How's that?"
That's fantastic.
No, she was really excited about Panama because she had a full life.
Sure.
In ways that she didn't in some of the other places we ended up.
Yeah, I'll bet. Yeah, that worked out great, you know.
Yeah,
So then back to the book then, Jungle Rules. You know, in this one then, again, it's talking about that double life, maintaining high stakes professional identity while concealing his true self from Gabrielle. So,
yeah,
you know,
well, he doesn't want her to find out that he's a gun for hire.
Right.
And something happens right before he proposes to her, and she finds out. You know, he has to admit to her what he does.
Oops.
And so she dumps him. I mean, right away.
Wow.
And so it's
Let me ask you this,
it's really tricky for him.
And I hope you don't mind me asking this, but was there struggles like that with you and your wife in instances where, you know, hey, I really can't be, you know, things that maybe she didn't understand or you didn't want to talk about or couldn't or?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, she was you know, she knew when I didn't want to tell her something, and she wouldn't ask. She wouldn't
respected
pester me.
your privacy there.
But she got pretty lonely in some of the places we went. I mean, her two favorite places were Panama and Germany.
Right.
You know, in Germany, you know, that's her home. So, you know, she had a good time, and I didn't travel as much. But you know, we spent a year in Boston. We spent 2 years in Washington. We spent a couple years in San Diego. We actually were in Vallejo, Ricky, running riverboats. That was fun. Yeah, a couple other places. Tampa. Sure. She didn't really find that much to do in Tampa. I mean, we did a lot of fishing.
Yeah, you can do definitely do a lot of fishing here.
A lot of Zonians.
She loved
in Tampa.
it. We started fishing in Lake Gatun, and you know, we would catch 100 peacock bass and then go in and the Panamanians would fillet them, and she got really spoiled. So we got to Tampa and she kept pestering me. She said, "When are we going fishing?
Oh no!
Come on, let's go fishing."
You created a monster.
I want to catch 100 fish, and I kept slow rolling it because I said, you know, honey, we may not catch anything.
Right.
She said, "What do you mean? I mean, look at Panama. You know, isn't Tampa like Panama?"
No, not quite. Although if you like grouper, you can definitely get good grouper here. But
oh yeah. No, we did fine, mostly with redfish. But it was, yeah. I mean, the problem with being married to someone in the Navy, if you're not in the Navy yourself, is finding a job. You know, she would have trouble, you know, finding a job, and then right before we had to leave, she would get the best job, and then she would have to stop and
Murphy's
follow
Law.
me again.
Of course.
Hey, I get a little correction on the economy. Sorry about that, guys, that I got taken off, but it's important. Panama is not number one. It's actually number 3. Guatemala has the biggest economy in Central America.
Wow.
And that's
Really?
actually by far. Costa Rica being the second.
That's
Panama
interesting.
third.
I would never put Guatemala to be one up there.
That surprises me. Yeah.
Very interesting. Oh, well,
You-
hey.
you still
I
get
love my
more
Zonians, man.
expats
We
in
get
Panama,
corrected like
right?
that all the time. I love you guys out there. You know who you are. Thank you very much.
Yeah, that's great.
I'm happy for Guatemala.
Yeah, me
Yeah,
too.
absolutely.
Yeah.
'Cause that's
We
another
Well,
that had a
that's
rough
a pretty
going.
big country. Guatemala's not small.
Yeah. No, we spent some time up there.
Very mountainous country.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah, yeah,
Just
it sure is.
beautiful.
Sure is. Now switching gears then to it's book 2, which was book 2 when you wrote it, right?
Yeah.
But
right.
now it's really should be book 3 then, technically.
Yeah, this is the one about domestic terrorism.
Okay.
And I had a lot of fun with this because I got a chance to develop a love story in parallel with some heart-stopping action,
Right.
and then bring these two people together at the end. It starts out and stays a platonic relationship while they're undercover.
Okay.
And so there were some challenges, but it was a lot of fun.
Okay. And this one again becomes the domestic terrorism piece on it here. And it takes place in the Air and Space Museum in Washington D.C., correct? Or at
That's
least
that's where the book starts.
Okay.
There's an attack on the tourists in the museum, and what this terrorist organization is trying to do, and they're Americans, not Islamists.
Okay.
They're trying to make the U.S. government overreact and impose martial law.
Sure.
And they're trying to get they're basically trying to start a revolution, and it's I don't know if a reader will believe that they can do that, but the way I wrote the book, they almost do.
Okay.
Yeah, there's I can't give too much away, but
Of course.
the end of the book is pretty hair raising because there are more than 1 million people who are about to die.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. And which it makes sense that you get in a situation like that when you have such a catastrophic event. No doubt you're going to have martial law. I would assume that the government at that point has to do it, and that's
this was a planned anthrax attack.
okay.
And in Silicon Valley, actually.
Okay.
And that's really all I should say.
Yeah,
But-
no, absolutely. You want people to read the book, guys. It's a
Yeah,
great book,
but-
part of a great trilogy.
But what's really interesting to me is seeing how these characters develop. You know, because
Right.
you develop characters and then they sort of develop themselves.
Sure.
You know, I would go to bed.
They come to life.
Yeah, I would go to bed dreaming about my characters, and in the morning I would do what they tell me to do.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So you definitely were living vicariously through them at one point.
Absolutely. Oh yeah.
I love it. I love
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Well,
That's
Carlton's
fun.
asking a question here on the screen. Said, did you ever work with Matthew Merchant in the SEALs? Does that name ring a bell?
No, it doesn't. I'm a lot older than I look.
Okay.
No,
Well, you did say you parachuted the first time as a SEAL in the 70s.
yeah, when I first got in the teams in the mid 70s, we had maybe a total of 300 people. I mean, I knew everybody on the East Coast
Okay.
and a lot of people on the West Coast, but the community grew quite a bit. And as it grew, a lot more people became SEALs, and I would not know them because not only am I older, I was out of the country for a lot of the
Right.
tail end of my career. So I didn't, if you don't hang out in Virginia Beach or Coronado or Tampa, then you
You're
really
out of the loop.
you don't have as many people in your
Sure.
circle.
That makes
And
sense.
if you haven't trained in Fort Sherman, you're definitely not making the inner circle.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now let's talk a little bit about going into the SEALs, and then we'll go ahead and switch over because we've got our trivia still coming up here. But
Yeah.
curious because we've even seen some stories and some movies and whatnot, but from an actual Navy SEAL,
Yeah.
what is it like? Give us a brief description of training to become a Navy SEAL.
Okay. The training program is very hard, very tough. The theme, and I've been an instructor too. The theme is make those guys think they're in combat.
Okay.
And so what you want to do is initiate a training regime that lasts a whole career. But you start out at Buds in Coronado, the training regime that will make anything else seem like a vacation.
Nice.
It's a little bit hard to describe. They put the students through the most difficult swimming, running, and exercise routines.
Right.
But that's all to build everybody's body up to the point where they can actually perform the mission. And
right.
and the
well, they say
SEAL,
that fatigue is one of the worst things to lose focus and mental acuity is just being tired.
yeah, and so they put us through what we call Hell Week, which is about the 5th week of training. They change it a little bit over the years, but that's 6 days of constant running, swimming, paddling, exercises, rope climb. I mean, they just torture you.
Right.
And you come out of that, pretty banged up. But it's a real confidence builder.
I bet.
We normally would lose about half the class during those 6 days. I was the class leader of my class, and I never considered quitting, mostly because I was talking everyone else out of quitting.
Okay. You got to walk the walk.
So, if you shoulder some of the leadership, it's easier to get through.
Yeah, certainly.
But yeah, it's hard. I mean, you're running 14 miles on the beach in boots. You're literally swimming in sewage from Tijuana for a couple of days. You're paddling, 30, 40 miles. You're swimming in cold water.
Right.
2, 3, 4 miles.
Well, I remember when I was in the Navy, I did Air Sea Survival School in Pensacola, which is nothing compared to what you guys did. But even that was, swimming in Pensacola Bay is, with the oil in the water, and everything else, it's nasty.
Yeah. All Navy, all military training programs are hard.
Right.
And they compete with each other to see who can be the hardest.
Kind of sounds like Wednesday night at Balboa Pool.
In some ways.
A very competitive bunch.
Yes.
And we're always looking for ways to be better and better than the other guys.
Right. Right. And I think that's a military tradition that it's fun, but I think there's a really good purpose to that because it makes everybody better. And in the Canal Zone, one thing that we can look back at and say, do we remember a military rivalry anywhere? And it's going to sound kind of silly, but it was the Turkey Bowl. Right. And it was Air Force and Army. That was a big deal. That stadium would fill up with people to watch it because that was bragging rights of which was the better of the two services. And ultimately the goal behind that, like you said, is to make everybody better. And if the best of the two is that means you got two really good squads there, two really good groups.
Yeah. I mean, the competition is comprehensive, whether it's a football game or training for combat. You always want to do more and push yourself to so you can be the most elite.
Sure.
So training's never over. That's a lot of guys that go to training and say, well, boy, I can't wait till this is over. And I used to tell them, hey, it's not going to be over ever until you take off your uniform.
Well, you even mentioned that when you guys were going, down to Latin America outside of Panama, those all became great training exercises. And even though they're missions, they're training exercises at the same time.
Yeah, that's right. Anytime you can be out in the field, moving, shooting, and communicating, you're good.
Right on, right on. So now, for somebody that obviously most of us in the audience at this point we're a little bit past the Navy SEAL, but let's assume that my son or my grandson thinks, I would love to be a Navy SEAL. What would you say to somebody like that? Starting from high school, what would be a good path for them to take to do something like that?
Well, I happen to have mentored a high school kid here, who is now, as we speak, in SEAL training. He just made it through Hell Week. So I can tell you what I told him, and that was that training's never over. Right. That leadership is more important in the teams than anywhere I've ever been. It's also more challenging because you're leading a bunch of junior leaders. I mean, all of the enlisted guys who end up in the teams have leadership skills and really good ideas. And you have to be able to work with that. You can't just tell them what to do and expect them to go do it without understanding what it is they're doing.
Because you're not always going to be there with them.
An input into whatever plan you're trying to put together. So I mean, it was challenging, but was also a lot of, it was pretty satisfying to see a plan come together that represents the ideas of everybody.
Sure. Well, and in your case, you're giving a lot of your experience, and this is what helped me, and because of this, I became that person. So now, lastly here, again, the whole reason that you and I connected initially was because I saw that announcement that you'd be appearing at the reunion. So tell us about that, when you're going to be on the reunion and what you're talking about. And obviously, folks, if you're going to, go in there, make sure you order the books ahead of time. That way you get them signed while you're there,
Yeah.
Are you going to be selling them at the reunion as well?
I will be. What they have me down for is a book talk at noon on the 10th. I believe that's a Friday.
Yep.
Yeah, Friday the 10th of July. And then I'll be part of the vendors room. I'll be in the vendors room, as they call it, on Saturday.
Okay. And actually, I've got the schedule up here, and what it says is that the Friday the 10th of July is a meet and greet. It's at actually 11:45 in the morning till 1:15 in the afternoon.
Oh, okay. So they give me a little more time. That's good.
Excellent. And then like Ricky was saying, that the vendor opportunities there, with the vendors there, you get it's a big draw. A lot of people love to get. There's a lot of very nostalgic Canal Zone and Panama stuff there. So that should go well for you.
No, I'm pretty excited about it. I'm going to bring a box of books, and if people want to buy the books, I'll sell them cheap.
Yeah, there you go. And again, guys, if you want to go ahead, and if you don't want to wait till July to start reading these books, go on Amazon. He's got them all available on Amazon as well. And it looks like a great trilogy to read here. Very, like you said, it starts in Panama on the Canal Zone. So right away, we love the character because he's a Zonian. As Ricky said, if you spent time in the Canal Zone, in that area, whether it was 2 years, 20 years, 2 months, whatever, if you work there and spent time there, you're a Zonian. And so we're gonna enjoy reading about a character that we know is a Zonian, a fictional Zonian nonetheless. But
well, I told you that Panama is very attractive, as you know, to American retirees.
Right.
I will spend some time in Panama. I can tell you that. I got to go back and see that other 750 birds that we didn't record.
That's it.
But. Yeah, and the fishing opportunities are unsurpassed. So I will spend time in Panama even if I don't live there.
Perfect. And Carlton's chiming in that he's going to capture. Carlton is the photographer for the reunion. Takes amazing pictures, and so he'll be there at your function. And anyone there that's got a book, you obviously can get a picture with with Captain Paul Shamela, and
that'd be great.
Keep that cool memory there. So
yeah,
that's really
that
great.
would be great.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
Another reason I want to go back to Panama is I want to write another novel, and I can't think of a better place to live while I'm writing it.
Indeed,
Balboa is really nice.
You may not have the same view you had last time, but
no,
something better.
I look, when I went back for for a teaching gig, I walked through my old neighborhood,
right,
at the top of the hill of Marine Barracks. Oh my God, I couldn't afford to live there.
Yeah, well,
pretty amazing.
That they did,
what they did.
and it kind of shows what you guys, especially in leadership in the Canal Zone, whether it was on the military side or civilian side, that you really were taken care of. I mean, it's we all live like kings down there, even in the worst of situations. So yeah, you're absolutely right. But once it turned over, Panama wasn't no fools. They looked at that and say, that's an expensive house, man.
Exactly.
Some money
I mean,
there.
that's what I would have done.
Yeah, heck yeah.
But I still have those visuals
sure.
from the hill. Yeah, it was a great experience.
Yeah. Well, we're glad you were able to do that, experience it, and then carry that over into this new career as an author. And we wish you lots of luck with that. We're looking forward to reading these books, and then of course when your next one comes out, when you go back down to Panama, we'll definitely be waiting to hear from that one. And of course, as we tell a lot of our guests here, you have an open invitation anytime you ever want to come back, because there's some great stories here, and we could probably spend another hour just talking about some Panama stories there.
Sure.
Know that you're always welcome back at any time, and so. But we really, really do appreciate you taking the time to join us, because again, we know that you're very busy taking care of your wife and all that, and so thanks for carving out a little bit of time for the Canal Zone and getting together with us, because it's been awesome. I've really enjoyed this talk.
Well, thank you so much for having me, and I'll stay in touch with you guys, and
we'll see you at the reunion.
Probably, I'll look for you.
Yeah, no, we'll definitely be looking for you
like.
too. Yeah, there you go. We can't hide now. Absolutely. And we know how you look as well. So
yeah, okay, good.
But again, Paul, thank you so much for doing this. Enjoy your weekend. Again, prayers for you and your wife, and kudos for you for doing the things that you do in your busy schedule to take care of the important things in life. So
thank you again, Will and Ricky. I look forward to seeing you guys in July.
You got it. Take care.
Thank you very much.
We will see you down the road. Cheers.
Sounds good.
Cheers, my friend.
Thank you.
Yes.
Cheers. Saludos.
Yes. All right.
That
was cool.
Well, the interaction with our viewers was amazing. How everybody interacted with them. I loved it. Yeah. Right on, guys. All you viewers out there. Thank you. Cheers to all you guys.
Very
what
good
a great
job out
show.
There. We ran a little long, and we promised a trivia show. I still want to do it because we got a great trivia show. We promised some Howler Monkey sauce, and we did get some people chime in and mention they're looking forward to some Howler Monkey sauce. So let's roll this thing out, guys. It's only 10 questions, but it's going to be a lot of fun. It's really, really easy to do, guys. All you have to do this trivia is you use the chat that you've been using all night here. There. Multiple choice, 1, 2, 3, or 4 are the answers. So we're going to go through them. We normally would do this and then have some infographics to talk about, but we've gone a little bit long. So we're just going to run through the quiz because we do have a winner that we want to get some Howler Monkey sauce over to. So let's just go ahead and kick things off, and we're just going to go chime into it. Again, guys, all you got to do is put the number 1, 2, 3, or 4 in the chat. Obviously, being multiple choice, you're going to have people have the same answer, but you're going to get more points the faster you answer. So keep that in mind, and the system here will tabulate all that for us. So let's kick it off, guys. So anyway, first question then. Which specific vessel established the world record for a single day's work in hard material in 1916 by excavating 23,305 cubic yards? Now, here's the beauty of it, though, guys, is it's multiple choice, right? So is it 1, the Mindy? Is it 2, the Paraiso? Is it 3, the Rialto M. Christensen, which we know is a newer ship or newer vessel? Or is it the Cascadas? Type in your answer. The example on the bottom is 1. Don't always type in 1. That may not be the answer. But which one do you think it is? Go ahead and type it in there, guys. Throw your answers in there, and
I'm going with 4.
Out. All right. You're going to go with 4? Well, let's see.
Only because of Andrew. I have no idea.
There you go. There you go. All right.
Stay at the Cascada.
5, 4. Let's see. Anybody? I'm seeing something in the chat there. Okay, we got 7. Put a number. Don't type it out. Just put the number in. It's either 1, 2, 3, or 4, because the system then will take that number and tabulate.
Add it up. I know, it's a cool little system.
So we got. Okay, Akira says 2. He's gonna say the Paraíso. Okay, so maybe some people are quickly Googling it. Sherry's going to say it's 2 as well. Let's go ahead and reveal the answer here. The first one is, the Cascada.
No way.
That was
Come on. Right on, Andrew.
Okay,
1, 4.
All right,
Okay,
Paul got it right.
Paul got it right.
Okay, excellent. All right, so here's the next question then, guys.
Well, we've got to go a little slow because remember the lag. I mean, the lag has shortened.
It is much shorter, but I will slow it down a little bit here anyway. Okay, so under the Panama Canal Treaty of 1977, what was the fixed annual sum that the commission was required to pay Panama for public services, like police and fire, but other things as well, water, electricity, all that stuff?
That's interesting. I didn't know that like in other words, when I lived there, I was going to high school.
Right.
Our fire was Panamanian. I thought it was still a Canal Zone fire department.
So let's see what it is then. So here's the first one. Was it $2,300,000 per year? It was the annual income. It's a fixed number. Was it $10 million? That's number 2. Was it $1? Or was it a bushel of peanuts from Georgia? Little Jimmy Carter humor there in 1977. But which one is it, guys? Which one do you think it is? Go ahead and throw your answers in the chat there.
They
and we'll
did
see if
buy the canal for $1, so maybe
you know what?
we got the service for $1.
Yeah, a bit of a great deal, wouldn't it? Maybe both of us got a good deal. They got a canal for $1. We got electricity.
I'm going with the $1.
We got someone saying it's 2.3 million.
That's
Again,
nice.
it could be that or 10 million. So,
yeah, I'm going with me and Carlton and I are on that. We got it. The $1, man. The $1.
All right. Well, let's figure it out then. The answer is
$10
$10
million
million a year.
That's what they were paying for the canal.
Isn't that incredible?
I mean, well, back in the day, obviously.
Right. But remember, what's interesting about that, you remember that, the thing about the canal was that the canal zone was self-sufficient, right? And so whatever revenues came in paid for this stuff. So it's really hard to tell what the cost was for a lot of these services.
$10 million sounds pretty low, actually.
Exactly. All of a sudden, it's like, well, wait a minute. That's a lot of things.
That's a lot of firing.
That's not a bad
fire
deal,
department, right? Well, that's all specialized fire departments too. The guys in the canal.
Yeah.
Those are specialized units.
Absolutely.
I think we got to go slower, Willie, because people are answering after.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I think so. So, okay, to facilitate forward movement in the channel, the dredge Mindy would walk on its rear stilts, advancing approximately how many feet per cycle?
In other words, every time it went around, it went pushed forward.
Because remember, it had that piece in the front that would churn things up and then suction it in. This was a suction drain.
And then that would push it forward.
Correct. So let's see. Was it 100 feet?
30 yards?
Was it 2, 0.25 miles, a quarter mile? Was it 3, 8 feet?
Sounds short.
Or was it 4, 50 feet? And again, we're looking for the movement of that dredge, because what that arm would do is, keep this in mind, and here might be a little bit of a hint or a clue. That arm or that dredge would swing side to side, and it would churn that stuff up, and then as it moves forward, it sucks it all up. So there's a clue there for it. Because of that side-to-side movement, what distance are we covering on each one of those steps?
Quarter mile sounds too far, so I would say 1 or 4.
Okay. So
Watch it be 8.
Yeah, well, I know, right? Watch it be 8 here. I'm tempted to pull up one on
that
this
thing took forever to get across that 8 feet. Yeah.
Let me do this.
All right, this way. 3 from Vern. 8 feet, huh?
Yeah, our lag isn't that bad, Ricky. Honestly, I've got it over here on the side there, and it's actually running. We're about 2 or 3 seconds back.
What? I
no, it's
8.
not. No, if I'm watching it now, watch. I'm going to go watch this. Clap. 1, 2, 3, 3.5 seconds. Okay, not bad. But anyway,
not bad.
All right. Next question then. Actually, what was the answer on this one? It is 8 feet.
No way! Right on, Vern. Vern, I think he's the only one that got it.
Well, I'm going to show you guys.
Oh, Eric got it. Eric got it too. Why? Right on, guys.
So here's what's going on. Let me see. Here it is.
Our engineer over here. Yes.
So here's what we're talking about, okay? So the Mindy would actually have two stilt legs on the back, and it actually literally would walk along the canal.
Wow.
The front of it had that boom, as you can see there, and it would swing 8 feet in either direction. And so it would move 8 feet forward. So in other words, one leg would swing 8 feet, so it could go all the way across and go that 8 feet distance across. And then the next leg would go, so little by little, it goes 8 feet at a time, but then it's churning up an 8 foot wide area that's going to dredge up and suck up there. So there's how that worked. But anyhow, all right.
So much for the 100 feet.
Yeah, I know, right? So let's move on to the next one then. Here we go. Okay, so what is the weight of a single cubic yard of dirt and stone excavated from the Gaylord Cut? And I'm gonna add a little to this. We're talking about a cubic yard of dirt being scooped up in those buckets on the Bucyrus, but is 1 cubic yard of dirt. How much did that weigh? And I know people are Googling that really fast here, but we're talking about, is it 1, 3,600 pounds? Is it 2, 4 tons? Is it 3, 320,000 pounds? Or is it 4, 2,240 pounds? What are we thinking here? What is the weight of a single cubic yard of the dirt and stone excavated from the Gaylord Cut? Yeah, let's see what some answers
we're all
are.
guessing now.
We got
This is really
2,
engineering.
4 tons. Okay. Let me see who else has got a guess there. We'll give it a try. You know, I think, Ricky, I'll tell you what I think it's taking people long to answer. Everybody's Googling it. That's what they're doing.
No. Oh, that's right, because we're giving awards. We're giving awards.
On the screen here, and I looked over on this screen, and it only took 3.5 seconds, man. So I know it ain't taking that long to get out there. But people are busy to Google. Hey, what was
No, well, it's unique because you don't know what some of that stuff is being stone and mud, so I don't think Google can give you a direct answer.
Oh, I think so. I think so, because there wasn't a lot of mud there. That was mostly rock on dirt there. It wasn't in the water. Remember, these were the land excavators. So anyway, all right. So let's see what the answer is. 3,600 pounds. So about a ton and a half. Almost 2 tons. In every
those are
scoop.
huge scoops, though. Look at the size of that thing.
And you think when a canal was being built, that excavator there, right? It's filling that up, and then it's loading it onto a train, and they got 20 carloads of those. And each one of those cars took more than 1 scoop. And then they would run them all up to Balboa to the
one of the reasons
Dam.
the French failed was because after they scooped up like that, they would put them on these little tiny trains. So they couldn't get it out of there fast enough, and then the side of the hills would come down.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. No, it's really impressive what they were able to do with those things. And again, this was, part of, when they started the canal operation or the construction, our first engineer just started digging, and he realized that the equipment he had was all that French equipment. It was garbage.
Tiny
couldn't
little
do this stuff.
little trains. Yeah.
Yeah, and all of a sudden Bucyrus stepped in and said, "Wait a minute, man! This is how you scoop stuff up." And then you got a big rail
Hold
line
my
to
beer.
haul it out. Yeah, exactly. Hold my beer. So, all right. Next question then: which of the following describes a key operational feature of the tugs M.L. Walker and H. Burgess? It's a unique feature that these 2 tugs had. And as you can see from the picture there, they're fairly modern. Okay, so what do you think
those are Zonian ones. Those were during the zone time.
Yes,
those
absolutely. So is it 1? Was it diesel electric engines for more power? Was it 2? A 360-degree rotating propulsion
I
system?
remember that being the cool thing. I'm going with that one.
Is it 3? Radar for night operations?
Canal.
Or 4? Did it have beer coolers? Which
knowing
would truly make the Zonians.
Knowing the Zonians, that could be an answer for sure. That's not too far off.
Yeah, absolutely. So then what are we thinking here? What is the unique feature of those tugs?
Yeah, I think I remember hearing that 360 rotating was like the really cool thing. Yeah, a lot of guys are popping in with number 2.
We're getting
I do recall that
rotating propulsion system.
3 from Japan.
Radar
for night operations.
That might be the one there. Let's figure that one out real quick, but let's go ahead and reveal what the answer is. Yes, it is a 360-degree propulsion
I do recall
system.
That. I do recall talking about how cool that was back in the day.
Yeah, as you can see on the infographic here, First of all, the names of these ships, the M.L. Walker and the H. Burgess. These were two former Canal Zone governors. So we named these tugs after them. So now you know where those names came from, right? And yes, they had that 360 propulsion system, which allows them to obviously maneuver
Spin
a lot
around,
more effectively, spin around and do all those things. So that was the unique setup of that of those tugs. Okay, next question then. During the construction era, who was the head engineer of the Central Division responsible for excavating the cut?
Oh,
remember, they broke it up into
I
Pacific
remember that,
Division,
yeah.
Central Division, and Atlantic Division. Okay, so who was the head engineer for that section? Was it 1, Teddy Roosevelt Jr.? Was it
Perhaps.
2, Colonel David Gaylord? Was it 3, Captain Clifford Edgecombe? Or was it 4, John F. Stevens? What are we thinking here? I think by process of elimination, we can eliminate number 1 probably, right?
I paid attention in Dave's class.
There you
So
go.
I know
That's
the
right.
answer.
Our Canal Zone historians always
Yep.
teaching us these new things. So if you've been watching the show, you definitely would have learned it from there. So what do we think it is, guys? Let me see here. What do we got in the chats here? We've got number 2. So we got the consensus seems to be Colonel David Gaylord. Okay,
Yeah.
yep. Akira all the way from Japan is chiming in the same way. So I think that might be the one. Let's see what it is.
Yep.
It is Colonel David Gaylord. There you go. Absolutely. Okay, my dad brought the Burgess and Walker through the shipyard in Savannah, Georgia, and trained peas. That's really cool, man. Right on.
Yeah, his dad was an engineer. Yeah.
Very good. Heck yeah. All right, let's go to the... Did I have anything on that one? No, I didn't. So let's go ahead and move on to the next question then. Okay, what happened to a vessel in a navigable channel if the owner fails to commence immediate removal after it is wrecked and sunk? And we talked about this recently.
In the canal, right? Yeah,
in
we
the
did.
canal. And you can see the image up there. That's of the Seal Yung. I forget the name of it, but that's the one that sunk in the canal. And the dredging division had to do some special things to get it lifted.
We talked about that.
Yes. So there's a regulation as to what applies here. So what happens to a vessel in the channel if the owner fails to commence immediate removal after it's wrecked? Is it 1, the vessel is left as a permanent navigational marker? I doubt that, but is it 2, the title immediately transfers to the Republic of Panama? Is it 3, the owner is fined $100,000 per day? Or 4, it becomes property of the U.S. government and removal is undertaken right away? Now, I'm going to give a caveat here, guys. This question is based on Canal Zone history. So this isn't, currently what goes on there, because obviously there is no U.S. government in the canal working right now. Okay, so assume that this is back in the day. That may have given something away there, but those are the answers there. So let's see whenever people are chiming in here and see what they come up with here. And in the meantime, I'm going to show you something.
Can't with the 4. Yeah, that's kind of sounds the one I would go with too, the 4.
Yeah. So again, do they leave it as a permanent navigational marker? I doubt that. Okay, but you never know. Dumber things have been done. Does the title immediately go?
From Panama? I mean, our directions like at the mango tree, turn right, look for the yellow car, turn left. Well, same thing with this.
Exactly.
At the sunken boat, captain's turn to the right.
Exactly, yeah. Wait, yep. Or is it the owner is fined $100,000 per day? And that's not a stretch, because we know that type of arrangement has been going on since the days of the Panama Railroad, as we learned about fines and stuff, because the Panama Railroad paid many, many fines by not going all the way out.
10 million back in the day.
To the Causeway Islands, because of course we're going to have to build a causeway and a rail line out there. But
Willie's a teacher, and he uses the word back in the day, and all the students were making fun of him.
Yeah, they did. I was doing some substitute teaching the other day in middle school. I was like, back in the day, and you can hear them all laughing. Listen to the old guy back in the day.
Back in the day.
So
And we use it here all the time, so
right?
maybe we'll
Note
stop.
to self, don't use that again in school with the kids. Okay, so the answer is it became property of the U.S. government and removal is undertaken right away. And as we've learned, guys, with the ship that you saw in the image there that sunk in the canal, and the dredging department had to do some rigging of one of the dredges, the Mindy, actually, that suction dredge, because they had all that food and stuff in it that was spoiling. So they had to
the rice
suction all that stuff out and float it, and then immediately take it out in the water in
we
in the
talked
bay.
about that. Like the rice, it was like rice, and it turned,
Yes,
it fermented
oil.
into a booze or something like
Correct.
that.
It was toxic, and then the oil you had in there, and I think cotton or something. It was three things that they had that we were concerned about, and yeah, they had to do something quickly. But the whole caveat behind it was that because the canal cannot be delayed, you cannot stop the operation. Dude, your ship sinks. You got to be getting somebody moving that stuff right now.
Exactly.
Not next week, not the week after, because if it's not being done right now, the U.S. government came in and said, hey, it's our ship. By law, we're taking it. We're going to do what we got to do. And, in this case, it took 2 years, but they got it out of the way and they took care of it the way it had to be done. So that's the way that one worked out. Okay, let's go to the next question then. What was the total excavating force developed by the Rialto Christensen, the world's largest diesel-electric dipper dredge, at its delivery? Okay, basically, how powerful was it? How strong was it? Was it 320,000 pounds of force?
Willie, are we going to get like an engineering license after this
I would
quiz?
think so. You're going to get lots of things. You're going to get a certificate. You're going to get all kinds of things on here. But,
Wow, these are some tough questions. I
right?
missed mine. What is a banana paper?
I know, right? Well, that's the thing. When I asked Notebook LM to do it, the first time I did it, it would do something like that. Where's the Panama Canal located? And I'm like, oh, like no Zonian's going to know that, right? So anyway, so 1 is 320, 2 is 65,000, 3 99,000 pounds, or 4 10 tons. Okay, what was the excavating force developed by this dredge, which was the world's largest diesel-electric dipper dredge? So it's going to be a big number. I'm pretty sure about that.
It is for some good sauce, so even if you have to guess, go for it, guys, because the sauce is
absolutely.
worth it.
Yeah, exactly. If nothing else, you get a little bragging rights too, But all right, let's figure out which one this is. It is 320,000 pounds of force. That is incredible, guys. That is a lot of force. Boy, that thing would have sped up construction of the canal if it had been around back in the day,
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Okay, let's go to the next one because we're almost done here. In the context of the canal's own housing and social terminology, this is going to be an interesting one. What was the official name introduced in the late 1950s for the traditional clubhouse? Remember, we had several clubhouses around the zone.
Yeah, come on, design. Look,
and they changed the name of it in the 50s. Okay?
Yeah, because we didn't have a second floor like that when we had ours.
Right. So was it 1, did they change it to Breezeway Commons? Was it 2, did they change it to Canal Zone Club? Back in the 50s, remember? Was it 3, did they change it to Service Center? Or was it 4, the Zonian Hub? Which one do we think is what they changed the terminology? The official name. It was official. It wasn't a street name, urban legend thing. It was the official name they gave it. Okay, what are we thinking that one was?
Canal Zone Club. I mean, only because it sounds elite, sounds nice.
Right. Let's
sounds like
see
the place
here.
to be.
All right, we got somebody's guessing 3, the Service Center. Someone's guessing 4, the Zonian Hub. Well, let's go ahead and reveal
hub.
that.
Yeah, it could be the
answer.
hub. Yeah.
It's going to be
The theater's not there yet either.
the lamest one of all, Service Center.
No, somebody got it right. Who got it right? Vern, right on.
Vern got it right.
Vern
Okay.
gets all the hard ones.
So the Canal Zone Townhouse, from clubhouse to service center. That's what they ended up calling it. Okay,
way.
they ended up making that.
Well,
change.
I mean, we did have a bakery, a cafeteria. I think you
It was
had
very
like
generic.
You can get
Yes.
your tailor, your
the shoe
clothes
store,
stuff.
the toy store, right? I mean, that's where you went to. There wasn't Toys R Us, there wasn't Payless. It was the shoe store. So this was the service center.
Was
right.
And the Canal Zone didn't play around with words either, or their architecture. Everything was just straight, whatever
But
you needed, and that was it. No
You're
fluff.
absolutely right. That was, and that was very much because the Canal Zone was a bureaucracy, right? It was just a big government operation, and we know that as great as the Canal Zone was, it was still a government operations aren't always the most
Yeah. They're not going to go with the word
smartest.
like hub.
Right, exactly. So they changed this name, but did the Canal Zone accept that? Did Zonians accept that?
Probably
Absolutely not. Because none of us have ever heard of that other than Vern.
That's
apparently.
right. Vern,
right? 'Cause
Vern's
we
the
always
smart
knew it as
one.
the clubhouse, right? So it was called that officially, but we always kept it as the clubhouse. So there you go. All right, let me go ahead and move on.
Iconic spot, man.
All right, and this is the last question. What was the original name for the town site of Corundu before it was renamed in 1943? And
Ooh,
from
it's
that
got
picture, you
dirty
can see that it
names
was a
now.
very happening place.
We know now it's Ciudad del Arte.
That's right. But it was something before Corundu as well. Okay, interesting here. So
I would say something swampy since that was like a big
City?
swamp.
Was it 2, Yankee
Silver
Town?
City, yes.
Was it 3, Skunk Hollow? Or was it 4, Bunai Town?
I think I heard Dave mention that actually.
Interesting.
Actually, I think, oh my God, it could be 1, 2, or 4, or should it be 3?
Right. So what are we thinking, guys? What are
I
we
go with
thinking on
2,
this last
Yankee
one?
Town.
Okay, it's either 1, Silver City, 2, Yankee Town, 3, Skunk Hollow, or 4, Bunai Town. What are we thinking here?
That's a tough
giving
one.
us
That's a good
threes.
one, though.
Somebody's throwing out Skunk Hollow. Paul Gibbs is throwing out Skunk Hollow. Okay.
Skunk Hollow. Yeah, you know.
Interesting.
Let's think about these questions. They're like that. So far, I mean, all the questions have been the one that we least thought.
All right, so yes to yachting. Do me a favor and put in the number 3 because the system actually looks at just the number. And guys, don't use the pound sign as well in front of it. Akira, I see you putting that pound sign in front of it or the number sign. Just put the actual digit itself because that's all it's reading. But the system does read that and tabulates everybody's correct answers, and obviously the sooner the better.
Yeah, because we had to do it before, right? No, that other app that we were using.
Correct.
2, Yankee Town. Yeah, see, that's what I'm going with 2, John.
Yep, so.
Carlton, 3, Skunk Hollow, huh?
All right, well, let's reveal what the answer then is.
Those cousins are onto something. What?
Skunk Hollow it is.
Boy, look at those. They're cousins, Carlton and Paul Gibbs.
So that's what
right
it is.
on, guys.
All right. So let's see here. And again, guys, remember what we're doing here. The winner is going to get themselves, bear with me here. Where are we at?
A delicious sauce.
Yes, you're going to get yourself some Howler Monkey Sauce combo. It's going to be a
Which I'm putting on my pizza now. I had a slice the other day, and I put my sauce on it.
It's delicious, man.
I've never done that before.
I'm a big
yeah.
fan of the Amarillo sauce. That's my favorite of all.
Put it on your pizza. You're going to be surprised.
I know Jim Duffus has chimed in a couple of times that he likes the green one, the Verde sauce. The red one is hot. If you like hot, it's got heat, okay? But again, it still brings flavor to it. And then, of course, you have your original sign, but...
I thought maybe the AI was making up that pizza thing about putting the sauce on the pizza,
Right.
but, that's like legit. Tastes
I'm
good.
telling you, man, it's good stuff.
It does bring up your game, your pizza game.
No, without a doubt, it really does. It definitely does bring it up, but so anyhow, let's go ahead and tabulate the results then of our where is it? Here it is.
Our Skunk Hollow to Corundu. Right on. Skunk Hollow.
Okay, so let's show then the
Skunk
results.
works.
So here we go, guys, and we will do a drum roll.
Oh, drum roll. Where I'm falling asleep over here. Ta-da.
Where is it?
And the winner, hot sauce tomato.
Oh, and of course, a little error here on my end. Sorry, I got to take this Howler.
Ricky won. Yay! No, just kidding.
Right? Where is it? Oh, here it is. Okay, let's go ahead and take that off. Here it is. So it looks like. All right, results. I'm not sure what that means because I had other people had more correct answers than that. That's very bizarre. Okay, we're gonna have to.
2 out of 3. 2 or 3. 2 or 3.
Yes. What a perfect comment. Absolutely. Yeah, I think the minion here hacked our system here.
I think we got hacked, guys. We got hacked. What happened?
I think we had something here. Maybe it's going to be operator error. I'm not sure what the case
It is our first time. It is new and everything. Well, thanks to you guys. We appreciate all your donations and everything because we can do this stuff.
We're going to work it out here. I'll tabulate the results and we will announce it. I promise you next Friday we will announce who the winner is. So sorry,
No,
guys.
2 or 3. We got you. We'll get since they're our sponsors, we'll get you guys sauce for all our.
We are. And
games.
if you happen to be in Panama, we can't order it on Amazon and send it to Panama. But what we will do is send you a $25 gift card from Amazon so you can go ahead and buy that or something else,
But we appreciate all that participation. Right on. Well, I think that's going to work. We're going to stick to this one.
It is definitely better. We just got to figure out that last piece. We
got to figure out
a QR code and putting stuff on your phone and all that lag and everything else. So, anyhow, so thanks, guys. It was really fun. I know we went a lot longer than we anticipated, but listen, we had a great conversation with Paul Chamel. It was
that Navy SEAL guy,
very informative. I absolutely love
the top SEAL to look at Panama the way he does. This makes my heart happy, man.
Yeah. No, and it was funny that when we started talking about it, he goes, yeah, and then my wife she met Marsha and Don Katz. I'm thinking, really, they were my next door neighbors. What a small world. So it was just great interview. What a great guy. And again, prayers go out to Paul and his wife. And
but his love for the Canal Zone is genuine, and
but it was a treat, man. We learned a lot of cool things about it. So
yeah, we got him before the reunion, so that was cool too.
Yes, make sure, guys, that if you go to the reunion, make sure you make time on Friday to go and say hello to Paul.
Say
and
hi,
if you've got the book already in your hand.
That's our third author we've had on.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Dockerman, him, and
anyway, the bus is going
by.
by. It's telling us to move out of here. So hopefully we can get HB Tui on next week. But Ricky, get us out of here. Let's kick the weekend.
Yes, guys, this is the heartwarming part of my life. Thank you so much from the bottom of our hearts. We really, really love you and appreciate you.
Thanks,
we'll
Eric.
be back next week, man, without a problem. Love you guys. See you.
Cheers.